Koikimedia, we're bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
Àwa sálára àgbáyédá, àwa ló láṣà àti èdè. Gbígbédè lárugẹ nílẹ̀ Oòduà o, àwa gangan ni bàbá.
Koikimedia, 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 we bringing the world closer to your doorstep.
They never sabi wetin we carry for her.
But e dey move closer before dem go sabi.
I said they never know wetin we carry for body.
But e dey move closer before dem go sabi.
Ọ̀kín lọ lọ́jà ẹyẹ, kìnìún ló ló lajú.
Ẹyẹ tó dorí kodò bí àdán ọ̀pẹ̀jẹ̀ lẹ́nu.
Ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ilẹ̀ bàbá wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ fún ìlú bàbá wa, ká jùmọ̀ sowọ́pọ̀ ká lè tó dúdú àga.
Odùduwà kò bá lè gbé wá.
Ọmọ Odùduwà ṣe gírí, ẹ dìde fún ẹ̀tọ́ adúláwọ̀, ká lè jọ jùmọ̀ gbé délẹ̀ ìlérí, ká wálé gba ògo ilẹ̀ wa, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká lè jọ gbàdé, ká lè gbàdé adé adúláwọ̀, àwa ni mọ̀lẹ̀ tí yóò tàn káàkiri.
Pé ọmọ Odùduwà ni wá.
Koikimedia, àwa là ń gbé tó lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
Kásá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà wà kájé bùgbà yín jẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
À ń gbé tó lárugẹ, à ń gbàsà lárugẹ.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
News and sports ẹ máa rí gbọ́.
Ètò tó pọ̀jù owó tiwa mọ́ ni.
Ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi ló ní kí n máa ké tantan. Koikimedia ọ̀rọ̀ lágbájúmọ̀ mi o, máa bá ṣẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ o. Ọmọ Yorùbá nìyẹn, ọmọ Yorùbá tata o. À ń gbádùn rẹ, ọmọ Ìjẹ̀bú alárẹ̀ mi, ṣẹ́yìn ló máa fi dìbò tẹ̀ mọ́lẹ̀ o. Ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa ń dé máa dé, ẹ̀yin lọ́mọ onígbò máa wọ̀ o. Igbó máa wọ̀ tájòjì ò gbọ́dọ̀ wọ̀, àjòjì tó bá wọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ á tẹ̀lé ní ẹbọra. Ẹ̀yin lọ máa náwó kóyìnbó tó dé, ìgbà tó yìnbó dé o, owó náà dẹ́ tún pọ̀ sí o. Koikimedia ṣàwa ní bàbá. Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdáńtọ́ àtúnpèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àwa là ń gbé tò lárugẹ, jẹ́ ká jọ gbọ́ o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àtúnjàfẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ wa, fẹ́tọ̀ ilẹ̀ Yorùbá.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ọmọ Oòduà ni wá o, tọkàntọkàn.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ikú tí ó ṣe bí lébi òsì, àdìmú bàbá iyọ̀.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
We bring you work closer to your doorstep.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Afẹ́fẹ́ tó ń fẹ́ o, tó ń kan kí oko lára ni.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àpèrègèdè Olódùmarè ló fún wa ṣe.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Gbogbo ayé ẹ gbọ́, àwa ní bàbá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Ẹ máa bọ̀ wá ẹgbẹ́ polówó ọjà yín wá o.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Odùduwà lágbédá ní, òtítọ́ lágbédá ní.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
A kì í sọ̀dálẹ̀, a kì í sódìkẹta.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Àdúró tán, a tún pèrègèdè.
Koikimedia àwọn ní bàbá.
Koikimedia, we bring you work closer to your doorstep. Koikimedia is around
To give us latest.
Is around
To give us latest.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
ladies and gentlemen,
Ẹ mú kalẹ̀ sílẹ̀, ẹ tẹ́tí ẹ gbọ́ ètò tó kojú gbogbo.
Koikimedia is around.
To give us latest.
Koikimedia.
Koi.
Ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Akin ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tìlé tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ Adéyẹmọ Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí àrá orúkọ tó ń dẹrù bo lórúkọ gan-an. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o torí pé bùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n irin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan ò lè ṣì wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àfìmọ̀ṣọ̀ kan ká lè débi re ẹjẹ́ àjọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ gèdèlè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò síná ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ń ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n ò mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sanran ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho áfíkan pọpọ sí amúkan yòókù bọ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ àfiṣẹrù wálé wàrà mòjé ọmọ onílé ọlà àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ségesège tọ́láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọ́n láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fi rí ńkọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé ti ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírèlẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ó kún díẹ̀ kí tọ́ domi láéláyé ìtọ́ mi lè domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti dí tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó. Ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Akin ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tìlé tó kó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ Adéyẹmọ Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí àrá orúkọ tó ń dẹrù bo lórúkọ gan-an. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o torí pé bùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. Ọ̀wọ́n irin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan ò lè ṣì wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àfìmọ̀ṣọ̀ kan ká lè débi re ẹjẹ́ àjọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ gèdèlè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò síná ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ń ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n ò mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sanran ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho áfíkan pọpọ sí amúkan yòókù bọ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ gbọ́ àfiṣẹrù wálé wàrà mòjé ọmọ onílé ọlà àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ségesège tọ́láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọ́n láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fi rí ńkọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé ti ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Ìgbòho onírèlẹ̀ láéláé torí àbá lásán nìkan ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ó kún díẹ̀ kí tọ́ domi láéláyé ìtọ́ mi lè domi Sunday Ìgbòho arógun má ti dí tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó.
Aha! tó bá ti yàgò kí pẹ́ mọ́ kúkúrú èdè ẹ̀jẹ̀ jẹ́ ayé torí pé ń retí ẹ̀yin pàápàá nínú ìjókòó ọjọ́ náà nínú àpérò àpapọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá àgbáyé ọlọ́jọ́ kan tó bọ̀ yìí One Day Yorùbá World Youth Conference tó wáyé lọ́jọ́ àbámẹ́ta sátọ̀dé ọjọ́ 16 oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2023 àkọlé rẹ̀ jẹ́ ipa àti ohun ọ̀dọ́ fún ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan ètò orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá the role and the voice of the youth to structure Yorùbá nation bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 11 òwúrọ̀ America Eastern Time tó jẹ́ agogo 4 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ní UK àti agogo orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá tí a lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára Zoom ni ó ti máa wáyé meeting ID 839-558-3292 nígbà tí password sì jẹ́ 790545 One Day Yorùbá Youth Conference yìí máa fàmì ọ̀tọ́lẹ̀ ó dájú àwọn ìlú mọ̀ọ́ká gbàgbọ́ jọ̀gbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n gbogbo ni ó wà ní kálẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ náà bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí bàbá wa emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye Yorùbá nation leader aka Oracle of our time Prophet Ayọ̀délé Ológunlolúwa youth leader in all diaspora láti USA Comrade Olúwamáyọ̀wá Òmíyọ̀ youth leader láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá lára àwọn olùbánisọ̀rọ̀ ọjọ́ náà sì ni Honourable Dr. Isaac Òkèbíọ̀rọ̀sí CPMO Director General Dr. Túndé Àmsà Assistant Director láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá Comrade Káyọ̀dé Ẹ̀mọ́là Assistant Director láti UK Comrade Ọláyọmí Kóìkì aka White Lion láti UK Mrs. Morenike Babinti láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá Comrade Anike Praise láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá Engineer Chief Múdà Dayọ̀ Ògúnṣọlá láti USA Mr. Babalọlá Dàda láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá bákan náà láti fàkókò yìí sọ fún ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá gbogbo wípé àǹfààní sì sílẹ̀ láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa láti jẹ́ aṣojú tàbí ara wa lẹ́yìnkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà nítorí wípé afẹ́kọ̀wọ́jà ìkárí ayé ní kò pẹ́ kò jìnnà lè darapọ̀ mọ́ àpérò yìí láì lórí ìkànnì Yorùbá World Media lọ́pọ̀rí owó media koikimedia ìyẹ́dárakọ̀ WTV Yorùbá Kingdom TV àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàgbara ilẹ̀ Yorùbá fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí àbí táyìn pàápàá bá fẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa lẹ́yìnkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà ẹlẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp +234-703-3355 àbí ká pè Prophet Ayọ̀délé tí wọ́n jẹ́ youth leader in all diaspora gan lórí +1-803-846-1116 Yorùbá Nation Youth Ajásẹ̀yìn lóògbé òsì nílé ìkéde dẹ́sítì pẹ̀lú àtọwọ́ Prophet Ayọ̀délé Ológunlolúwa youth leader in all diaspora lórúkọ gbogbo ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá pátápátá. ìmọ̀lẹ̀ gbogbo wa.
In short deal is already a deal. To be precise, let me inform you as we anticipate to see you in attendance in the forthcoming One Day Yoruba World Youth Conference, tailored for Saturday, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. American Eastern Time, which is 4 p.m. UK and Yoruba time. Theme: the role and the voice of the youth to structure Yoruba nation, holding globally via the Zoom network. Meeting ID 839-558-83292 and the passcode 790545. This One Day Yoruba World Youth Conference will be very remarkable and impactful in our struggle, as many high-profile worldwide personalities will be in attendance, ranking from Baba himself, Emeritus Professor Banji Akintoye, Yoruba national leader, also known as the Oracle of our time, Prophet Ayọ̀délé Ológunlolúwa, youth leader in all diaspora from the United States, Comrade Olúwamáyọ̀wá Òmíyọ̀, youth leader Yorubaland, and guest speakers include Honourable Dr. Isaac Òkèbíọ̀rọ̀sí, CPMO Director General, Dr. Túndé Àmsà, Assistant Director from Yorubaland, Comrade Ọláyọmí Kóìkì aka White Lion from the United Kingdom, Mrs. Morenike Babinti from Yorubaland, Comrade Anike Praise from Yorubaland, Comrade Káyọ̀dé Ẹ̀mọ́là, Assistant Director from United Kingdom, Mr. Babalọlá Dàda from Yorubaland, and Engineer Chief Múdà Dayọ̀ Ògúnṣọlá from the United States. We also want to inform the entire Yoruba youth globally on how to join the Yoruba Nation youth, especially those who have been aspiring to work and support this noble cause of liberation of Yoruba race, regardless of your location. You can contact youth leader to get registered free of charge. Don't forget, this One Day Yoruba Youth World Congress would be streamlined in all our platforms: Yoruba World Media, Omoboriowo Media, Koikimedia, Kowe TV, Yoruba Kingdom TV, and all other Yoruba Nation platforms. For more inquiry on this program or how to become a member, contact +234 703 717 3355 or contact Prophet Ayodele Ologololuwa, the Diaspora Youth Leader, directly on +1 803 846 1116. Yoruba Nation Youth, these days dog chases the rabbit to the shady. Announcer Prophet Ayodele Ologololuwa, Youth Leader in all diaspora for Yoruba Nation Youth.
And a very good afternoon and welcome once again. Mo kí gbogbo wa níbi tí ẹ bá ti ń gbọ́ wa tí ẹ ti ń wò wá. Mo kí ọmọdé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo ń kí àgbàlagbà nínú wa. Mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé níbi tí Elédùmarè ọba bá ti ní kẹ́tù láǹfààní àti tó fi gbọ́ wa ní ọ̀sán yìí. Orí ètò Koikimedia lélẹ́yìí níbi tí a ti máa ń fi oríṣiríṣi tó ń lọ ní gbogbo àgbáyé, most importantly in tó ń lọ lórí ètò Yorùbá Nation tí a gbé dání. Mo kí ọba Elédùmarè tó lẹ́ni tó lánàá, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa ní gbogbo platforms. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, we are still having technical glitch lórí MixLR and we hope that will be resolved very soon. A lè láǹfààní àti máa jẹ̀gbádùn lórí ẹ̀ náà. Bí ti ṣe ń kí yín, I want to go straight into the program torí ọ̀rọ̀ pọ̀ tí mo fẹ́ sọ lénìí, tí mo fẹ́ fi dá wa ní ẹ̀kọ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ fáǹfààní gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ bá ti ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Bó bá jẹ́ lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ ló máa kọ́kọ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ mi, ìwọ ò ṣe farabalẹ̀ kó jókòó, kó fetí gbọ́ ohun tí mo tún fẹ́ sọ lénìí, kó jẹ́ ká jọ gbé yẹ̀wò. Kí ni mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí lénìí? Ọ̀nà yẹn pọ̀ díẹ̀, àmọ́ mo ní jẹ́ kó pẹ́ púpọ̀. We hope we can do it in 3 hours, just as we normally say, and fẹ́ kí broadcast kó ju 3 hours lọ. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa kí ni international community máa ṣe tí a bá declare Yorùbá Nation. Kí ni reaction international community? Ǹjẹ́ a ti ráwọn ìlú tó declare bẹ́ẹ̀? Àti pé ọ̀nà wo ló fi gbà declare? Ṣé true ogun ló fi declare ni àbí báwo? These are the areas tí mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí ìlú kan tó ń pè ní Somaliland. Somaliland mo máa sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìlú kan tó ń pè ní Nagorno-Karabakh. I hope I pronounce it very well. Ìlú yẹn jẹ́ Nagorno-Karabakh. Mo máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa wọn. Mo fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa kí ni MP kan nílùú yìí ní UK. Kí ló dé tó ní òun fẹ́ kí UK recognize Somaliland gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìlú kan? Kí ló wá dé tí àwa náà wá rú MP bẹ́ẹ̀ tó lè bá wa gbé ọ̀rọ̀ wa lọ sí orí parliament ìyẹn ní UK ní bíbáyìí kí wọ́n lè bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá Nation táwa náà ṣe kí ni campaign fún? Gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn náà ni mo fẹ́ gbé kalẹ̀ bí ọba Elédùmarè ṣe fún mi ní làákàyè as a journalist kájọ tún gbé yẹ̀wò kí ni United Security Council sọ nípa atasak humanitarian crisis tó ń lọ. Nígbà wo gan ni Somaliland nígbà wo làwọn declare ìlú àti pé lẹ́yìn ìgbà tó declare àwọn wo ló recognize wọn? Are they recognize? Gbogbo area tí mo fẹ́ lọ léni nìyẹn, so mo fẹ́ kẹ́ farabalẹ̀ kí ẹ jókòó kẹ́yìn náà kí ẹ kọ́gbọ́n nínú ètò tí a fẹ́ mú wá ní èní. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí mú kí gbogbo yín mo ní lè máa dárúkọ gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti wà lórí ètò, màá máa kí yín dáadáa ká tó parí ètò nítorí pé ibi tá a fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí lénìí ọ̀nà yẹn pọ̀ díẹ̀. Òyìnbó máa pọ̀ nínú broadcast yìí, ẹ máa gbà bẹ́ẹ̀. Bọ̀ lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ mo ṣèbà fún ọba Elédùmarè ní ti ìlànà ti àwa oníṣẹ̀ṣe. Mo kí ọba tó dá wa sáyé, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí bàbá wa emeritus Professor ADEBANJI AKINTOYE. Mo kí àwọn mùsùlùmí, mo ní àsàlámù àlékùm, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni mo kí àwọn kìrìsìtẹ́nì. Mo kí Ìgbòho òòṣà ìmọ́lẹ̀ Yorùbá, bẹ́ẹ̀ là ń tọrọ pé kí ọba Elédùmarè kó túbọ̀ fún Nnamdi Kanu ní àlàáfíà tó pọ̀ dáadáa nítorí pé wọ́n ní ó rẹ̀ díẹ̀. Níbi tá a fẹ́ mọ́rọ̀ lọ lénìí, mo kí gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ YSDM. Màá tún máa sọ lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí pé lórí ètò tá a ti ń bá bọ̀, we are still in a very good safe hand pẹ̀lú emeritus Professor ADEBANJI AKINTOYE, ìyẹn bàbá tó ń darí ètò Yorùbá Nation lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Àwọn kan ní leader gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, but tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá Nation, tá a bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa pé àwa campaigner fún self-determination, bàbá wa emeritus Professor ADEBANJI AKINTOYE, àwọn ní leader wa, àwọn là ń tẹ̀lé. Bá ti ṣe wá ń tẹ̀lé wọn náà, à ń tẹ̀lé bàbá wa BANJI AYILOGE tí mo fi tọ̀wọ̀tọ̀wọ̀ dárúkọ. Àwa kí gbogbo àwọn bàbá àwọn ìyá tó ń bẹ lábẹ́ wọn tí wọ́n jọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ náà, kí ọba Elédùmarè kó túbọ̀ jẹ́ kí iṣẹ́ náà kó yá. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ náà ló ń sẹ́ndì mẹ́sẹ̀gì pé báwo la ṣe fẹ́ mọ̀ nípa Yorùbá Nation. Èmi á ní tẹ́ bá ti lọ sórí www.ysdm.org, àwọn ní organization tó kó gbogbo oríṣiríṣi ẹgbẹ́ papọ̀ ní 2021 after a lot of consultation pé oríṣiríṣi èèyàn náà ló decide pé a fẹ́ máa ṣe Yorùbá Nation, a fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa Yorùbá Nation, a fẹ́ máa campaign fún Yorùbá Nation. Ó wá dàbí ìgbà tí à ń duplicate iṣẹ́ yẹn. Wọ́n wá jókòó, àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n wọ́n jókòó dáadáa, wọ́n bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ń gbé yẹ̀wò lọ́tùn lósì pé ká má bàa máa ṣiṣẹ́ wàhálà tí eléyìí máa ní òun lọ sí United Nations, eléyìí náà ní òun ti lọ sí European Union. Ẹ jẹ́ kí gbogbo wa kọ́ ká wà lójú kan. Ìyẹn wá sọ pé organization kankan àbí group kankan tó ń bẹ lábẹ́ wọn, I believe we have about 72 different groups tó ń bẹ lábẹ́ Yorùbá self-determination movement tá a mọ̀ sí YSDM. Olúkálukú náà ló wá níṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe. Àwọn kan agric farming ni wọ́n gbé dání, àwọn kan campaign rally, àwọn kan máa sọ fáwọn èèyàn nípa Yorùbá Nation. But kí ni aims and objective YSDM? Ẹ jẹ́ ká tún sáré sọ fún wa briefly ká tó máa tẹ̀síwájú. Tá a bá ń sọ pé YSDM, it is known as the Yoruba Self-Determination Movement. And oríṣiríṣi other organization, and they are doing very well. And we pray that everybody will continue to make the push. Láti, okay, it seems there's a frozen broadcast from my side. I'm not sure why that is, but it could be a lot of different reasons, because it seems that the system is overworking. Let's hope it's stable back. Let's see if we can move things around.
Ọmọ Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ àdúgbò owó àti ọmọ. Ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilé tó tó ẹ̀mí àbọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ Adéyẹmọ. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho, orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí àrá, orúkọ tó ń dẹrù bo lórúkọ gan-an. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn o, torí pé bùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé. Títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà, wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá.
And I guess my camera is back. It's just a technical glitch. There's nothing to be worried about. 4:32 p.m. Mo sọ nípa aims and objectives of the YSDM. Kó tó di pé we had that slight glitch. So let me quickly go into that, and then we can start going into the real conversation tí a fi sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí lénìí. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti ń bẹ lórí ìjókòó, àtẹ̀yin tí ẹ ti ń retí pé ṣá máa tún jáde lénìí àbótúndọ̀la ni. Bí ṣe ń sọ, a ní time ta lè máa fi sí pé a máa jáde, but a máa ràn yín pé ẹ máa make sure pé ẹ ń follow gbogbo platforms. Tí platform kan bá wà on, ìkan máa sọ fún yín pé a ti wà live, so that ẹ lè ní idea pé Koiki is live already. Torí pé most of those platforms staffing stream, they are not really pushing our message out there. So the aims and objectives of the YSDM. The aim of the YSDM is to achieve sovereignty for the Yoruba nation. The objectives of the organization shall be as follow, but not limited to proactively. Is to engage the Nigerian state using available instruments provided by the international law and legislation. And mo fẹ́ kẹ́ mú bẹ́ẹ̀ dání dáadáa nítorí pé mo máa sọ̀rọ̀ nípa kí ni perspective lórí international law nípa ìjàngbara Yorùbá nation. Tí a bá tẹ̀ declare Yorùbá nation, kí ni international community máa sọ, àti pé kí ni reaction wọn, ṣé wọ́n máa accept or wọ́n ní accept. A máa lo a particular video tí a ti prepare fún wa lórí international law when it comes to self-determination. Àwọn kan máa ń pè wọ́n ní secessionist, but in táwa gbé dání is known as the right to self-determination, just like Scotland ṣe sọ ní bíbá.
Other countries were refused at first, but we have to remember, and this is a really important point, that self-determination is an inalienable international right and a law as well. And other countries will recognise Scotland's democratic choice expressed at the ballot box. They will recognise that because that is the route that many other countries have taken in order to become independent. And just to make that point, that international law is very pragmatic on that point, so we should have confidence in that.
So àwa náà gbọ́dọ̀ ní confidence lórí nǹkan tá a gbé dání. Ẹ má worry, ẹ má bother nípa whether the Nigerian government, the Nigerian state agrees, align with us. That is not the issue. But gẹ́gẹ́ bí a ti ṣe gbọ́, YSDM will engage the Nigerian state using instruments provided for by the international law and legislation. We would also engage international communities. Ká tó tẹ̀ sọ pé a fẹ́ declare Yorùbá nation officially. Tàbá na fẹ́ declare Yorùbá nation in official way. A máa consult different countries. A máa bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀ ní background pé a fẹ́ Yorùbá nation. But tàbá jáde pa lọ declare, ṣe máa fún wa ní support openly or without being open. Taiwan, bí gbogbo wa ṣe mọ̀, is a very strong country, but it is not yet recognized lábẹ́ United Nations. We have so many other countries like that, and lórí area yẹn ni mo fẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. So we will do what they call diplomacy. Kí ló ń pè ní diplomacy? Diplomacy máa ń pẹ́, but àwọn United Nations ò fẹ́ kí ẹ lọ ja ogun láti fẹ́ fi gba ìlú mọ́ yín lọ́wọ́, nítorí pé wọ́n fẹ́ kẹ́ bá ìlú tí ẹ wà lábẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa kí ọ̀rọ̀ yín kó yéra yín, sódà kò ní di pé a máa gbé machine gun síta, a máa yìnbọn para wa, kò ní di pé ẹ̀jẹ̀ máa pọ̀ rẹpẹtẹ nílẹ̀. Ìyẹn ló ṣe ń sọ pé ẹ continue diplomacy. Diplomacy dẹ̀ máa ń wá lóríṣiríṣi ọ̀nà. Nínú diplomacy ẹ máa kọ article, nínú diplomacy ẹ wá ní body kan bíi YSDM, àwọn á máa push effort. Àwọn other organization náà tó ń push effort yẹn, but effort tá a bá make tó o bá ti dé ìsàlẹ̀ gẹ́gẹ́ bí arákùnrin. Kí ni arákùnrin yìí sọ? Sorry, a fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìtàn pè ní engagement and diplomacy. Ní July 4th ọdún yìí, British MP kan ó gbé ọ̀rọ̀ dìde ní parliament ní UK pé òun fẹ́ jẹ́ kí UK government recognize ìlú kan tó ń pè ní Somaliland látara Somalia or Somali. Somaliland ẹ̀yà kan làwọn náà. Somali is a different country, but ǹjẹ́ mọ̀ pé Somaliland ti declare láti 1991 wọ́n operate as a country but wọ́n wà recognized níta. Now ẹ jẹ́ ká padà sórí aims and objectives of the YSDM. Wọ́n máa tún ṣe kí ni? Wọ́n máa facilitate trust, respect, honesty àti open relation between Yoruba self-determination groups. A ní ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ different groups tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ káàkiri gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá àti ní diaspora. Iṣẹ́ ti YSDM ni pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ respect each of these group. Kò ní wá sọ pé torí àwa ni YSDM tí gbogbo group wà lábẹ́. In tí ìlànà Canada fẹ́ ṣe ìyẹn ní on the tí a ti fi wọ̀nyí lẹ́ǹkan ìlànà Canada wọ́n ní event kan tó ń bọ̀ lágbára Elédùmarè ìyẹn ní next week. Kí YSDM wá sọ pé no ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà Canada ní jẹ́ kẹ́ ṣe town hall meeting yẹn kò lè work bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ accept pé town hall meeting tó fẹ́ ṣe yẹn kí ni wọ́n fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ lórí Yorùbá nation náà ni. A sọ àwọn tó ti tẹ̀lé olóṣèlú lọ o. A sọ àwọn tí wọ́n sọ pé campaign Yorùbá nation tó gbé dání wọ́n wá tún lọ ń bá Tinubu lẹ́yìn láti jẹ́ kí Tinubu fún wọn ní position bí ọ̀dàlẹ̀ bàbá burúkú tẹ̀ ń pè ní Professor Wálé Adéníran. Nítorí pé irú àwọn yẹn wọ́n ti mọ̀ fáwọn ṣe Yorùbá nation tẹ́lẹ̀ but wọ́n kọ̀ wá kàjó wa ó wá dó sàárín wa ó farabalẹ̀ gbogbo àṣírí ó lọ sí meeting pẹ̀lú àwọn ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà ó lọ sí meeting pẹ̀lú YSDM ó lọ sí meeting pẹ̀lú different organization ó wá gbé gbogbo ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ ní kọ̀rọ̀ tí kò ń ṣe tá à ń sọ nínú Zoom ó wá gbé lọ kódà tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá mọ̀ ó tún poison bàbá Professor Banji Akintoye Ọlọ́run ló pa bàbá yẹn. So kò ń ṣeré àwọn yẹn là ń sọ. So YSDM is there to make sure pé ìlànà ọmọ Oòduà ẹ máa ṣe program ó dá ẹ tètè bá wa gbé jáde. Irú yẹn lọ bẹ́ẹ̀ irú next week náà àwọn ti Prophet Ológunolúwa àwọn náà fẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá nation youth ìyẹn náà ní next week. Gbogbo ilé yóò ní dá ìrìn àjò dúró nítorí pé YSDM àwọn sọ fún wa pé no but YSDM ló gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ organization tó máa collect gbogbo owó on behalf of Yorùbá nation. So ìwọ tó o bá tí lọ máa fi direct debit gbogbo yín náà lẹ ní direct debit tẹ́ ń ṣe ní different walks of life. Kí ló wá dé tí ẹ fẹ́ dáwó sínú YSDM? Tá bá ní a gbé Yorùbá nation dání lótìtọ́ each organization tó wà lábẹ́ àwọn náà ní oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tó ń ṣe but ǹjẹ́ mọ̀ pé ẹ lè wá lọ bá YSDM ìyẹn tó wọ́n bá ti wà níbẹ̀ pé àwa náà ta jẹ́ ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ yín lábẹ́ àwa náà ní kankan ta fẹ́ ṣe àwọn á wá gbé yẹ̀wò wọ́n wá go through department to department pé in tó fẹ́ ṣe yẹn ó dà pé wọ́n ní ìfìlà 10 mẹ́yẹn ẹjẹ́ fún wọn ní fìlà 20 but tí YSDM ò bá lówó tí a dẹ̀ fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ olóṣèlú báwo lẹ ṣe fẹ́ jẹ́ kí YSDM cooperate? Kò wá sí organisation kan láyé yìí tó ń bẹ títí di wákàtí títí di gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì kan wá bó ṣe fẹ́ gbowó lọ́wọ́ yín kí lẹ rò pé Tinubu ṣe stop subsidy kó lè bá rí owó gbà nígbà tó máa jáde bá wa sọ̀rọ̀ ó lóun ti rí 1 trillion naira lára subsidy tó stop. So kí ló wá dé tí ọmọ Yorùbá ò fẹ́ lọ fi owó sínú YSDM ẹ dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí YSDM kó wà fruitful kó wà as an organization láti project ìrìn àjò Yorùbá nation ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ fi owó síbẹ̀ ní every month kò ń ṣe pé à ń mandate yín it is a just cause ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ wá bẹ ṣe máa fi owó síbẹ̀ ẹ má wọrí nípa ìyá olórí burúkú tí kò ní kú sábútẹ́ bátàṣẹ wà tó dé láàrin méjì tó sọ fún wa pé òun ò nílò owó tó wá pín ìrìn àjò yìí sí méjì ọ̀hún wá ń gbowó nísìn wọ́n wá ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé kẹ́ má dáwó. YSDM kẹ̀rẹ́ àríṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe at least up to the last rally tá a ṣe which was in Ọjọ́ta ní January 9. Àrígbà tó kó ní Ogun State àrígbà tó kó ní Ọ̀ṣun State ẹ̀rí gbogbo bánà tó ṣe kò ń ṣọ̀fẹ́ wọ́n lè fún wọn ní discount gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá ṣe fún wọn bọ̀ tó gbọ́dọ̀ sanwó. Kò wá síbì kan ní àgbáyé tíyàn máa sọ pé àwa ń ṣe ẹgbẹ́ ànídòwó kò possible. So mo bẹ̀ wá, mo rọ̀ wá, gbogbo èyí tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ìtì ìdáwó, àwọn kan ní ẹ àti dáwó tẹ́lẹ̀, kí lẹ fi ṣe? Let me say this. Government gan ó ń gba owó lọ́wọ́ wa, whether we agree with them or not. So kí ló fi ṣe evidence wa tẹ̀lé rí? But tá bá sọ pé àdáwó síbẹ̀, well, ìbá tó bá lè máa ṣe, wá máa ṣe. Ìrìn àjò yẹn, àwa ń bẹ Elédùmarè kó má pẹ̀lú bó ṣe yẹ lọ. I won't say more than that. But ẹni tó bá fowó síbẹ̀, you are not putting your money into a ditch. You are literally supporting the movement. So now tí a ti wá mọ aims and objectives, wọ́n tún máa ṣe kí ni? Work towards the common goal. Kí ni common goal náà? A fẹ́ independent, a fẹ́ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. A fẹ́ kúrò nínú Nàìjíríà. Ṣó máa dogun? Àmọ́. Ṣé kò ní dogun? Àmọ́. Àmọ́ we have to push every means of the aims and objectives tí YSDM gbé dání pé kò gbọdọ̀ di ogun. Ẹ jẹ́ ká ṣe ní ẹ̀tọ́, ní ìrìn àjò tó máa tètè jẹ́ kó yá. Láàárín ẹ̀ lolúkálukú máa communicate pẹ̀lú ìlú tó bá wà. Nítorí pé kí ló lè mú odindi MP yìí tó sọ pé òun o gẹ́gẹ́ bí MP ìlú yìí, òun fẹ́ kí wọ́n recognize Somaliland. And I have the video evidence. A máa play fún wa. Wọ́n pe MP náà ní Sir Gavin Wilson. Tabariru ẹ̀ mẹ́ta tó bá wa push ọ̀rọ̀ wa lọ sí inú parliament nílùú yìí. Tiwa náà máa da díẹ̀. Arákùnrin náà lẹ́ ń wò yìí. Sir Gavin Alexander Wilson, CBE, is a British politician who most recently served as Minister of State without a portfolio láti October 25th, ìyẹn last year, títí di 8th of November. He has been the Member of Parliament of South Staffordshire láti 2010. Òun wá ń sọ fún British government pé ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ká accept Somaliland as a country. Lára iṣẹ́ tí YSDM ṣe ń sọ fún gbogbo wa pé ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ní different organization nísàlẹ̀, ẹ bá wa máa push ọ̀rọ̀ Yorùbá nation lọ sọ́dọ̀ MP yín. A dẹ̀ ráwọn tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn. But àìtí rí MP kankan tó bá wa gbé ọ̀rọ̀ tiwa lọ sí parliament ìyẹn ní UK láti sọ fún wọn pé àwọn campaigner Yorùbá nation wọ́n ń béèrè pé ṣé UK government bá wa fọwọ́ sí. Àti ráwọn tó ti kọ lẹ́tà carry evidence but I am talking about the member of parliament. Imagine tá bá rí irú arákùnrin yìí mẹ́ta tó bá wa gbé ọ̀rọ̀ wa lọ sínú parliament tó ń debate lé lórí, because this is what we call parallel parliament. Ẹ rí pé níwájú ẹ̀ ẹgbọ́n kan tó kọ sí bíbá. This all happened just in July. Eléyìí ṣe last year. Kí ló wá dé táwa náà? And this is the push tí irú bàbá wa Báṣegù tí wọ́n ń sọ nígbà yẹn pé ẹ jẹ́ ká make sure pé ká lo àwọn MP wa, bọ̀ nítorí pé àwọn MP tó wà níbẹ̀ wọn ò bá ìjọmọ Yorùbá, their interest is not for Yorùbá people. Their interest is just for the British government. So ẹni tó bá ní àní MP, àní member of parliament tó jẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá, no. Their aims and objective is not for me and you. They are not there for me. Ẹ̀wọ̀ arákùnrin nísìn, ó lọ bá British government àjẹgẹ́ bí ẹni tó jẹ́ member of parliament. Tó bá mẹ́tọ́ ń pè ní member of parliament, ó dàbí àwọn senator wa. Àìtí rí senator lẹ Yorùbá kankan tó represent wa tó bá wa lọ tébù ọ̀rọ̀ wa l'Abuja pé àwa campaigner a fẹ́ lọ nítorí pé kò ń ṣe common interest wọn. They are not interested in that. Now ẹ wá jẹ́ ká gbọ́ nǹkan tí arákùnrin sọ. Ó ní Republic of Somaliland recognition. Kí làwa náà fẹ́? Recognition. Kí là ń fẹ́? Independent. Tuesday 4th of July 2023. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sáré kà fún yín. Ó ní I beg to move that leave be given to bring a bill to require His Majesty government to recognize formally the Republic of Somaliland. Imagine tó bá jẹ́ pé instead of Republic of Somaliland yẹn kó bá wa fi Yorùbá nation síbẹ̀. But how do we get to this stage? Tá a bá ní àwọn tó jẹ́ active people tó máa communicate pẹ̀lú MP tó máa communicate. Kò ń ṣe pé ká ṣe program nìkan olúkálukú ti lọ sùn. Gbogbo ìlú tólúkálukú bá wà títí dé European country ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ máa make àwọn representative yìí mọ̀ pé wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ recognize Yorùbá nation as a country. And that will make the job of YSDM to also work very well. So their job is to work towards the common goal of independence for Yoruba land. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ wá accelerate the process. But èèyàn lè sọ pé òun fẹ́ sáré. But tó bá dé títì tí traffic bá wà kí ló máa ṣe sí? Tó dẹ̀ sọ pé o wà ní helicopter. Kódà helicopter gan nígbà míì gan tí weather ò bá dá, wàá sọ fún helicopter yẹn pé kò gbọ́dọ̀ fly. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ yín fẹ́ ká gba Yorùbá nation bíi tèmi. But lẹ́ǹkọ̀ọ̀kan delay máa ń wáyé. Somaliland yìí láti 1991 ni wọ́n ti declare ìlú wọn, but wọ́n ti wà recognize. Ẹ calculate 1991 títí di wákàtí how many years? Fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń wo program yìí ẹ fi sínú comment section. So ẹ̀yin tí ẹ wá ń bínú pé Koiki àti bẹ̀rẹ̀ Yorùbá nation ìjọ ọ̀la fi gbà máa rántí pé Somaliland declare in 1991, but títí di wákàtí ìlú tó recognize wọn bí alótó mẹ́rin. Lóòótọ́ wọ́n operate as a country nítorí pé wọ́n ní sovereignty tiwọn, wọ́n ní èèyàn tiwọn, kódà wọ́n ní passport tiwọn. But ìbéèrè tọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ máa ń béèrè wá ni pé kí ló wá dé táwa náà tí ì ṣe declaration tiwa? Mo sọ̀rọ̀ Dagboru olórí burúkú woman kan pé rẹ̀ ní bomb bastard yẹn o. I'm not talking about that torí pé ìyẹn ò sí lára fact tí a lè fi sọ pé òun ti declare. Kò sí ìkọ̀kan tó ń jẹ́ declaration as far as we can say lẹ́nìí tí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá lè confirm. Kò síbi kankan lágbàáyé tí wọ́n lè sọ pé organization kan ìlú kan ó confirm pé Yorùbá nation has been declared as a country. 32 years ago ẹ ṣe gan ni bàbá wa ẹni Ọlọ́run dá. Wọ́n ní 32 years ago ní Somaliland títí di wákàtí wọ́n ti gba ìtàn pè ní what we call recognition. But wọ́n make effort. Lára effort yẹn èmi ò mọ bí bọ̀bọ́ yìí àbí arákùnrin yìí àbí bàbá yìí la fẹ́ pè tó fi di pé ó ní interest sínú Somaliland. Kí ló dé táwa náà rí àwọn tó jẹ́ MP wa kán ní interest sí Yorùbá nation? Àwa la máa gbé ọ̀rọ̀ wa lọ bá wọn. So gbogbo àwọn tó máa ń sọ pé ẹ má ṣe campaign kankan mọ́, ẹ má ṣe awareness kankan mọ́, èyí tá a ṣe yẹn ti tó. You must all be stupid people. Nítorí pé as long as wọ́n ti gbé ọ̀rọ̀ wá sínú Parliament UK, why must we stop our campaign? Why must we stop our campaign? Ìtí mo kàn lè sọ ni pé arákùnrin yìí ó rìnrìn àjò kan lọ sí Somaliland rí, kò ṣe eléyìí. Òun ni àkọ́kọ́ fẹ́ ká tó wá padà sí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn díẹ̀díẹ̀. So I'm going to take this up. Now we are now going into the full broadcast of today. Ẹ mú pen and paper. Èyí tó bá yé yín ẹ kọ sílẹ̀ so that tá bá ń béèrè pé kí ni Q&A ẹ lè béèrè question tí àwọn ọlọ́pọlọ mò ń bá sọ̀rọ̀. I am not talking to stupid and nonentic people torí wọ́n ti block off. Listen and let's enjoy the program. According to what we have, ẹ jẹ́ ká kọ́kọ́ béèrè Somaliland. Let's start from there. When is a nation not a nation? Somaliland dream of independence. This was in the Guardian newspaper of July 20, 2018. Òun ni article tí mo kọ́kọ́ fẹ́ kà yìí. So that ká kàn lè ní background of Somaliland. Tábà tí wá ní background ẹ̀, a lè wá ní understanding pé abájọ tí ń rìn àjò Yorùbá nation náà tó dàbí pé ó ń pẹ́. Because ẹlòmíì ò mọ reason tó ṣe ń pẹ́. Ẹlòmíì kọ́ rẹ̀ tí ẹ pé nígbà tá ti náà máa ṣẹlẹ̀ lẹ́nu kò dẹ̀ tí ì ṣẹlẹ̀, then that's the end of it. No, 32 years ago àwọn ilé ìṣe ń jà pé kọ́tẹ̀ recognize wọn ní United Nations, wọ́n ti recognize wọn. So let's go ahead with it. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, my name is Olami Koiki and this is Koikimedia bringing the work closer to your doorstep. Mo kí àtó bíbí lọ́mọ, mo kí bàbá Akíntóyè dáadáa, mo kí gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ káàkiri, mo kí gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá. When is a nation not a nation? Somaliland dream of independence, though unrecognized. Mo fẹ́ kẹ́ mú ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn dání. Tó bá sọ pé unrecognized, kí ló mean? English dictionary.
Unrecognized.
Again.
Unrecognized.
Tá bá ní.
Unrecognized.
Tí bá sọ fún gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá pé wọ́n ti recognize wa, olórí burúkú ìyàwó èrè tó sọ pé ipò òun ti declare nonsense ló ń sọ. As I speak to you today with fact and fact, there is no country called Yoruba nation as of today. I will say more than that. anybody tó bá sọ fún yín pé a ti gba country a ti wà nínú Yorùbá nation a kò máa gbé ìjọba délédé interim government, they are all fooling you and they are playing your mind. One play psyche yín, one play mind yín, because there's nothing called Yoruba nation as of today. We want to be recognized. We don't want to even declare a Yoruba nation and we are not recognized. Àwọn eléyìí declare lu wọn, but they are still not recognized. Kí ló ń pè ní
unrecognized?
Tá bá sọ pé
Unrecognized.
it is something that is not identified from a previous encounter. How do you spell unrecognizable or no? What is another word for unrecognized? Èyí tẹ́ bá mọ̀ lédè Yorùbá ẹ bá wa fi sínú comment section tí bá tètè rí màá kà síta ìyẹn àyàn ògbéfọ̀ ẹ̀. Tá bá sọ pé nǹkan tí wọ́n unrecognized kí ló mean lédè Yorùbá? What is another word for unrecognized? Unrecognized, unacknowledged, not recognized or admitted. Wọ́n admit Somaliland nítorí pé America ò recognize wọn, UK ò recognize wọn, àmọ́ MP kan bẹ̀bẹ̀ pé kí ló dé? Ẹ gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ká recognize ìlú yìí, èmi kọ́ mo sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. British Member of Parliament mission to recognize Somaliland from Somalia. So tá bá sọ pé
unrecognized,
it is because ìlú yẹn make a declaration lóòótọ́. Ibi tí wọ́n ti mọ̀ ẹ ṣe gan ni ìyàwó Olúwafẹ́rànmi Abíọ́lá. Ìlú tí wọ́n ti mọ̀. So tá bá sọ pé a ti declare Yorùbá nation, àwa ti gba Yorùbá nation, a máa gbé ìjọba délédé. It is all lies. There is no fact. There's no evidence. There's nothing to back that. It is all rubbish. So I want you, ẹ̀yin tí ẹ ṣì ń believe in that nonsense ni mo bá sọ̀rọ̀. Kò ń ṣe àwọn tí wọ́n mọ̀ pé àìtí gba country, but we are working towards to have a country of our own. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí, mo nílé máa dárúkọ gbogbo yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń wọlé, but mo rí gbogbo yín. So 32 years ago ní Somaliland declare, but títí di wákàtí, they are not recognized. So article yìí jáde ní 2018. Let's go. Nígbà tí mo ti sọ meaning unrecognized fún yín, ẹ jẹ́ ká wá continue. Though unrecognized by the international community, this self-declared state in the horn of Africa has its own flag, its parliament, even its currency, even its own national identity. What has to happen before its status change? Kí ló máa ṣe kí status wọn kó lè tó yí padà after 31 years? So gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá tó bá ń sọ pé bàbá Akíntóyè ò tí gbìyànjú tó, mo sọ fún yín pé we are still in a safe hand pẹ̀lú bàbá Akíntóyè. Ìtí wọ̀ báyìí tí dámọ̀, kí ni àwa fẹ́ ṣe wàhálà lé lórí tí àfẹ́jẹ́ kọ́ dá wa mọ̀? Àfẹ́jẹ́ kọ́ dá wa mọ̀, àwọn ò fẹ́ sá sábẹ́ aṣọ, àfẹ́ sá sábẹ́ abẹ́ ìwọlẹ̀. Àfẹ́ declare Yorùbá nation tí gbogbo àgbáyé ò ní lè sọ̀rọ̀ lé lórí. Kí láǹfààní pé ń declare Yorùbá nation nígbà tí gbogbo àgbáyé ò sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ẹ̀, wọn ò mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀. Èèyàn kan wá náà kíkọ lẹ́tà sí gbogbo àgbáyé, àwọn ti declare, àti declare náà nìyẹn, kò sẹ́ni kankan tó máa declare mọ́. Bomb bastard nìyá lórí burúkú yẹn kò ní kú síbi táṣẹ wà. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin tí wọ́n ń tàn jẹ tó bá yá ìtànjẹ yẹn máa ẹ mọ̀ pé ẹni tó bá ń tàn jẹ ẹ̀hún náà máa ní ẹ̀wọ̀ ọ̀tọ̀ ọ̀hún. No problem. But tó bá yá àkàlòjù yín. Let's continue. When you are in Somaliland, there is never any question. There is never any question. Mo fẹ́ increase the front here. And this was put together by a journalist called Joshua Keating. Okay? So when you are in a Somaliland, there is never any question that you are in a real country. Ṣérù yẹn lẹ́yìn náà fẹ́. Ṣérù yẹn lẹ́yìn náà fẹ́ ká máa declare. Ká tún máa sọ pé ìjọba pólísì Nàìjíríà sì ń ṣiṣẹ́, kọ́ dẹ̀ máa sọ fún yín pé ẹ má wọrí, gbogbo yẹn ó máa níyànjú. Ìdí tá a ṣe ń sọ fún yín pé it is all lies. Tá a bá ti declare, a gbọ́dọ̀ take control resources wa, a gbọ́dọ̀ take, kò ń jẹ́ ìtàn wọn ní a ṣe menstruation, a ṣe this, it is all lies. Lóòótọ́ kò jẹ́ ká máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ sí area yẹn, but we need to continue because woman yìí divide the movement yìí sọ́nà méjì. Àwọn kan believe pé àwọn ti gba country. Ẹbí gba country ẹni tó gba country gan ẹ̀mọ́bí tó wà, number one. Moreover, kò sí any iota of any evidence to back it. So ìjọ ò lè fi máa believe nonsense yẹn. But let me not go back too much on that. When you are in a Somaliland, there is never any kódà àwọn eléyìí tó declare gan wọ́n wà better ju ìyá Dagboro tó náà declare lọ. àwọn eléyìí at least wọ́n sì make effort yẹn wà visible but bí ti ṣe sọ fún yín they are not recognized. So when you are in a Somaliland, there is never any question that you are in a real country. There is never any question. You are not in a real country. So ìyẹn làwọn kan ṣe sọ pé wọ́n náà declare Yorùbá nation. Àdẹ̀sí inú ìjọba ọlọ́pàá Nàìjíríà tó ń lọ up and down tó ń dá wa dúró. Níbo ni currency yìí wà? Níbo ni central bank ti yìí wà? It took 2 years láti set up the CBN Act before 1960. 1958 ni wọ́n create the CBN Act 2 years before the country was even declared as an independent country. So it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of people to come together. Not somebody say, our youth nìkan la máa ṣe, nídìí ẹnì kankan. They are all fooling themselves. Ó dà pé officially wọ́n ò tí ní understanding nǹkan tá a gbé dání. But we must continue to educate and enlighten them. And like I said, I am not your normal blogger. I am a journalist that take my time to research before coming to talk to you. So arákùnrin sọ pé, when I arrived at the airport, after all, the place has all the trappings of countryhood. But only by the time the airport here, when I arrived at the airport, a custom officer in Somaliland in uniform checked my Somaliland visa issued by Somaliland consulate in Washington DC. Wọ́n ní sọ èyí tẹ́ máa ń rò pé àwọn Biafra tó ní government in exile. But before you know, the government in exile will be working. At least àwọn tẹ̀ ní evidence. À ń rí offices wọn, à ń rí ibi tí àwọn èèyàn máa sọ pé okay, government in exile of Biafra, ó wà ní South Africa, ó wà ní Assault Simon Ekpa, ó pòsì ti South Korea. Àwọn èèyàn tẹ̀ fi banner síta ni. But ẹ̀yin náà ń ṣe Yorùbá nation. Fáwọn tó náà ti declare ni mo sọ, kódà lè sọ pé ọ́fíìsì yìí bí báyìí ló wà, kátẹ̀wá ọ́fíìsì yìí. It shows the lies that they put into the movement and some people bought it. But there's no problem. Ojú Imaka, even Somaliland, totally exists for 32 years after declaration, even though they are unrecognized. Kẹmọ̀ pé wọ́n issue visa. Can you imagine that? Ṣé ìwọ tí wọ́n sọ fún pé media tó parọ́ fún ẹ pé a ti gba Yorùbá country, tó bá wá pé lọ sí that same country, wàá tún wá lo Nigerian passport lọ síbẹ̀. Tó bá wá dé immigration, wàá wá sọ fún ẹ pé I am in Yoruba land. We have declared, just like bá ṣe gbọ́ táwọn ọmọ yẹn sọ pé wọ́n ní CCTV United Nations ó ń ṣọ́ wa. And I only pity those young chaps because gbọ́n tí Koiki sọ mọ́. Everybody is in a haste. Everybody is excited. Gbogbo èèyàn pété ti gba country. Lóòótọ́ ohun èmi náà ká gbà lẹ́nu. But bí ṣe sọ, there is always traffic along the line, especially nígbà táwọn olóṣèlú yín tó support it. So let me quickly read without doing any more translation so that we can enjoy this conversation very well. Arákùnrin ni, when I arrived at the airport, a custom officer in a Somaliland uniform checked my Somaliland visa issued by Somaliland consulate in Washington DC. At the airport, there was a Somaliland flag. During my visit, I paid Somaliland shilling to drivers of cabs with Somaliland plate who took me to the office of Minister of Somaliland government. But according to the United States Department of State, the United Nations, the African Union, and other governments on earth, I was not in Somaliland. Mo kí àtòbí mi lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Ẹ gbọ́ bíbẹ̀ dáadáa. Arákùnrin sọ pé nígbà tó òun débẹ̀, lóòótọ́ òun bá wọn ní airport, òun rí custom officer, kódà òun rí flag. But according to United States Department of State, according to United Nations, according to African Union, and all other government tó ń bẹ ní gbogbo àgbáyé, òun ò sí nínú country kankan. So òun ṣeré lọ síbì kan nìyẹn. As far as they are concerned, this individual tó ṣeré lọ yìí, ó lọ on his own. So ẹ̀yin tí à ń bá sọ̀rọ̀ pé ẹ farabalẹ̀, we are in a safe hand with Baba Akintoye. They are putting us through the right direction, and we must continue to give the support, especially to YSDM. Tẹ́ bá ní skills, ẹ má kàn jókòó, Koiki mo ní knowledge kan, no, ẹ darapọ̀. Tó bá jẹ́ pé ẹ máa fọ́ọ̀mù gúùpù tí ní méjì mẹ́ta, ẹ wá gbé initiative yẹn, ẹ gbé lọ bá wọn YSDM. Ẹ̀yin náà di part of the member. Ṣèbí tó bá jẹ́ pé CV yín ó dá lóòótọ́, because ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ala ní CV tó dáa ta fẹ́ fi ṣiṣẹ́ ní big office kí ló dé tẹ́ fẹ́ fi irú iṣẹ́ yẹn fi ṣiṣẹ́ fún Yorùbá kí ló dé tẹ́ fẹ́ fi irú CV yẹn fi ṣiṣẹ́ fún YSDM ká lè jẹ́ kí ìrìn àjò yìí kó tètè lọ síwájú. Again, let's continue. I was not in Somaliland, a poor but stable, mostly functional country on the Horn of Africa. I was in Somalia. Even among unrecognized states, Somaliland is a special case. It is both completely independent and politically entirely isolated. Ṣé ẹ fẹ́ gba Yorùbá nation tá a máa wà isolated? Ṣé Yorùbá nation tẹ́ fẹ́ gbà tá a máa wà isolated lẹ́ fẹ́? I don't think I want such Yoruba nation. I want a Yoruba nation where we can take everything outright. Unlike South Sudan got their independence in 2011, but after so many wars, wọ́n jagun ni. Unlike South Sudan before its independence, Somaliland claim for statehood is based not on a redrawing of colonial borders, but an attempt to re-establish them. Unlike Taiwan, it is a shackle not to a richer, more powerful country, but a poorer, weaker one. Unlike Palestine, its quest for independence is not a popular cause for the activists around the world. The journalist Graham Wood has described places such as Somaliland as the limbo world. As kí ni mo pè? Limbo world. Entities that start by acting like a real country. So they are acting. Because for 32 years, wọ́n lọ síwájú, wọ́n lọ sẹ́yìn. Ṣérù yẹn lẹ́yìn náà fẹ́. A ti declare Yorùbá nation. Àwọn ti gba Yorùbá nation tiwa. Bàbá Akíntóyè ni kò ti gba Yorùbá nation tiẹ̀. Òmùgọ̀. It does not carry water. It does not take you to anywhere. It is not recognized. You are wasting your energy and your time. What separates real from self-proclaimed country is simply the recognition of other countries. Kí ni meaning recognition? Ẹ rántí pé the other word was unrecognized. Tá bá wá sọ pé recognition, what is the dictionary meaning of?
Recognition.
Tá bá ní recognition. How do we put together the word
recognition?
Ǹjẹ́ a lè ṣe wàhálà tá má wá ní
recognition?
Ǹjẹ́ a lè pariwo Yorùbá nation a ti declare tá má wá wà?
Recognition.
What is the meaning of
recognition?
It is called the identification of someone or something or person. Many people tó ń gbé nínú Nigeria do not have any identity, so we don't recognize them. We have people from Niger, tó ń gbé pẹ̀lú wa. We have people from other African countries because they see Nigeria as a place where they can hide as long as they can ride motorcycle from their country and they don't have to know anywhere. Tọ́ba ìwọ tó gbé nìyẹn ló máa tún júwe ọ̀nà fún Aboki. You just arrived Lagos. I arrived last week. Okay, go this way, go that way. Òun náà mọ̀nà. Within 3 weeks, ó ti wà perfect. Aboki yẹn kò nílé kankan tó gbà ní Lagos State. That mistake is not identified and it is not. He is also not recognized.
Recognition.
Because that is why we have them all over Yoruba land. But àwọn tó tẹ̀ ń sanwó táàsì fún yín, àwọn Igbo tó wà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́, àwọn lẹ́ ń bá jà o. At least a mọ̀ pé àwọn Igbo wà láàrin wa, we can monitor them. Hey, don't bring sit at home to Lagos Island. We don't want it. Ìbàdàn níjáde, gbogbo ẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí pariwo. Fine. But today we have criminal terrorists in Yoruba land. We don't even know who they are. They don't. I mean, each time I go to Lagos, tí bá rí wọn tó ń sùn sórí bike wọn ní àárọ̀, nígbà míì tá bá jí jáde, màmá wonder pé sáwọn eléyìí ò nílé ni. They don't need a house. Ìwọ ló fẹ́ gbé nílé náà. At least tó bá gbọmọ Igbo sílé, á fẹ́ gbalé mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́. Okay, but at least o mọ̀ pé ìwọ ló nílé ẹ. Tó bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ gbà mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́, wàá lọ sí court. Wàá lọ gbẹ́jọ́ lọ sí court pé àwa la nílé yìí. But àwọn terrorists tí wọ́n ń gbé láàárín wa, do you know that so many of them do not have a proper accommodation? Ìta ló ti ń wẹ̀, ìta ló ti ń yàgbẹ́, ìta náà ló ti ń jẹun, ìta náà ló ti ń make owó. Because Lagos, àwọn ni Lagos is no man's land. Ẹ fi pé àwọn Igbo nìkan ló ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Àwọn àjòjì ti ń sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ pé Lagos is no man's land. Àwọn kan wá jáde, Koikimedia máa sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. Lagos, what do you mean by Lagos is no man's land? Òmùgọ̀. You are fighting what you should not be fighting. What we should be fighting is to make sure that we have what?
Recognition
of Yoruba sovereign state, Yoruba sovereign country, so that we can take charge of our borders. Because already, everybody, you've lost your border. You've lost your border. Any part of Yoruba land, they can come in and they can walk away and they can kill you and they can still live with you and nobody knows who they are. So going back to the article, I would go back one more step. Torí pé agbọ́dọ̀ máa fi tó yín létí léraléra kẹ́ fi ní understanding. According to the journalist, Graham Wood has described places such as Somaliland as a limbo world. It is an entity that starts by acting like a real country and then hope to become them. But what separates real from self-proclaimed country is what we call recognition.
Recognition.
And what do you mean by recognition? Recognition is the act of praising or rewarding someone for something they have done. We did all the work, but they got all the recognition. Ìyẹn ni àwọn kan fẹ́ support Baba Akintoye, but they want to be recognized because they are not ready to work in line with Baba Akintoye. We're not bringing anybody in, so do not send any requests for those of you listening to us on the Twitter space. This is not a communication to join. You are just to listen, and if you don't want to listen, you are more than welcome to just take a bow, as they will say in the parliament. What separates real from the self-proclaimed countries is simply the recognition of these countries. There is no ultimate legal authority when it comes to the international relation that decide what is or isn't a real country, and the difference of opinion on that questions are common. What separates Somaliland from the world, from say Sweden, is that Sweden is recognized by its peers. What also means by statehood may be a legal concept, but achieving it is an entirely political process to the degree that foreign officials acknowledge Somaliland at all. They are generally sympathetic to its history and admiring of its recent accomplishments. Somaliland's main obstacle is not the word animosity, but its indifferences. Its current predicament answers the question, what would happen if you create a new country and no one notices it? How can you say Àtìgbà country but nobody notices it? Ẹ̀yin nìkan lè fẹ́ máa ẹ wá sọ country, ẹ wá sọ di Yorùbá nation country, ẹ wá sọ di inú abẹ́ aṣọ yín. Does that make sense in 2023? Does that make sense? Àwọn kan tẹ̀ ń béèrè document. You don't need a document. All we need to see is international community telling us that yes, Yoruba nation has been declared and we have the proof and the evidence. So you can see the difference between the work of Baba Akintoye and that Olori Buruku woman that is a born bastard. Let's continue. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome to the live transmission. Somaliland is a pretty easy to get to. There are regular flights to capital Agagisa from Dubai and also Addis Ababa. The city is a scruffy, sprawling town of sin-block houses and pothole roads, fields coated in a fine film of desert dust. It is usually extraordinarily dry, although predict violent downpour in the rainy season. Leave the mostly unpaved street damp and soggy. Camels are the traditional livelihood, food source and currency of Somali herders. And even in the big city, it is not unusual to see them lumping through busy downtown traffic. Food store, crampy out steaming, heaping plate of chewy camel meat, not bad, and thick frothy camel milk. Journalists tó lọ síbẹ̀ ló fún wa ní background what it is like in Somaliland. And Somaliland is just border to Somali itself. But they are saying that they are a country, made a declaration 32 years ago, but they are still not going anywhere yet. Let's continue. From the other store, money changers dispense grimy faded bricks of chilling banknotes held together by rubber band When I was visiting, the shilling was trading at about 7,000 to the US dollar, just like the naira is trading at 1,000 to US dollars, or probably a little bit less. But maybe in another 8 years, Emamara 4,000 naira to a dollar. You think I'm joking? It's just a matter of time. Everybody will get the message. Although, given that you can't extend Somaliland shillings anywhere outside Somaliland, you would pay change it because no country recognize them. I don't exactly understand how this exchange rate is set. When paying for anything in a store with shillings, unless you know what you are doing, it is generally best to just hand over one of these bricks to the clerk and let him take out what he needs. Nowadays, most people are more likely to pay for basic goods and services by transferring through a cell phone credit. Now, try to book an hotel in a Somaliland online from the US, and you are likely to be referred to a travel advisory stating the US Department of State warns the US citizen to avoid travel to Somali because of continuous threat by Al-Qaeda affiliated terrorist group Al-Shabaab that are now sleeping and eating and whining and dining in Nigeria. But once you are there, you quickly realize that such warnings are really unnecessary. Definitely, what do you expect America to tell you? What do you expect UK to tell you when they know that this country is not recognized? Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome to the live transmission. But once you are there, you will quickly realize that such warnings are unnecessary. Agaza is one of the safest, large city in Africa. And aside from the pollution and traffic, there's not too much to be concerned about when you are walking around. Although foreigners traveling outside the capital have been required to hire an armed guard since the killing of 4 foreign aid workers by bandits in 2004. There has been almost no terrorist activity in Somaliland since 2008, when suicide bombers attacked the presidential palace and the Ethiopian consulate. In contrast to the south, there is no pirate activity along Somaliland's shore. Aga's main work of public art is a war memorial consisting of a stubby mag fighter plane, a real one shot down in 1988, and now mounted on a pedestal along the city. Once again, a very good afternoon and welcome as we continue with this live transmission. Agassians will tell you with some ironic pride that their city is one of the few places in the world that was bombed by planes that took off from the same city. The event is part of a long chain of events, most of them tragic, leading up to the country's strange current predicament. As the names of their country suggest, there's a little ethnic or linguistic differences between the people of Somali and the Somaliland. The entity that today calls itself Republic of Somaliland owes its existence to 2 main factors: its proximity to Yemen and its abundance of sheep. In the late 19th century, Britain, with the support of Italy, and France, with the support of Russia, were locked in the struggle for the control of the Nile, Omi. Toba Montankwe in Nile, River Nile, Omi. Whoever owns the water owns the world. Do you know how many sheep travel on the water? That is why water is important. If you lose your territory that has water like Lagos, you've lost everything entirely. In the late 19th century, once again, Britain, with the support of Italy, and France, with the support of Russia, we are all locked in the struggle for the control of Nile. As a means of both countering French influence and ensuring a regular supply of mutton for its grandson at the Yemeni port city of Aden, Britain signed a series of agreements with the tribes in northern Somalia. Again, Britain, almost everywhere you see their hand. In the word of the historian Ian Lewis, in relation to its size and significance, Somaliland was one of Britain's latest rewarding possessions. Do you know the meaning of possession? Possession is something that they've taken. Yet, there's a good cause to be made that its marginal status as a colony benefited the country in the long run, whereas Somaliland had been considered a backwater by the British. Maybe that is why one of the member of parliament is saying it is time to recognize Somaliland. I don't know whether they're going to do so. And therefore left mostly to govern itself through the existing clan structure. Italy considers Somaliland an integral part of its short-lived ambition to build a North Africa empire that also include a modern-day Libya and part of Egypt. It shouldn't be surprising that today the territory where the colonialism power had more ambitious states building goals is the most unstable. There is evidence from studies of regions of India and other parts of Africa to support the notion that post-colonial countries where colonizer had a lighter touch turn out better in the long term. As Somalilanders, we often remind you it was in the past an independent country fully recognized by international community, including the United Nations. But this Alicon period lasted less than a week. On the 26th of June 1960, the former protectorate of Somaliland became fully independent from the British rule. Its independence recognized by 35 countries. You wonder why a country was recognized in 1960, but today, 32 years on from 1991, they are no longer recognized. You can see why the world is biased. They are playing everybody, especially the people that colonized us during those times. Again, in 1960, 26th of June, the former protectorate of Somaliland became fully independent from the British rule. Its independence was recognized by 35 countries around the world, including the United States of America. But the next day, its new legislature passed a law approving a union with the South, just as we are seeing now in Nigeria after the amalgamation and after the independence, everything has been destroyed. So today, Yoruba nation, is because the British knew if we have a Yoruba nation, we will be competing with them, and some of us will not have any reason to live in this country. Somalia became an independent from Italy, and the two again were joined together. We had an independent Yoruba kingdom. They had an independent Arewa kingdom. They had an independent Eastern kingdom. But today, 1914 amalgamation joined all of us together, and our elites. I got a message from one of our very senior advocate of Nigeria saying, how do you carry the elite? Money, no, don't worry. When the right time comes, the elite will have no other option. The elite thought that the new government will probably favor them. They make money, everybody's enjoying. Probably after the new government has completed its term, whether it's 4 years, whether it's 8 years, the Northerners come back again and they will destroy everything that Tinubu is trying to build for Nigeria. So that is the message for those of you that are saying, I want elite to bow dasi, come at dasi. When the appropriate time comes, they will get the message. The next day, its new legislature passed a law approving a union with the South while joining them together. Today, that is the reason why Somaliland say, we are not part of Somali, but the world say, we do not recognize you. Let's go further. Difficulties emerge almost immediately, and just a year after independence, voters in the North rejected a new constitution. The marriage was off to a rocky start, just as our marriage with the Igbos, with the Hausas, with the 350 ethnic groups, that marriage has collapsed. But Opolopo Yoruba said, no. We can still amend the marriage. We can still work together. We can live together side by side. But yet, we are all marginalizing each other. So immediately there was an independence in that part of the world. The marriage was off to a rocky start. Things will go from bad to worse in 1969 when an officer coup brought a general named Said Barre to power. just as we have so many coups in Nigeria that destroy the regional government today. Good afternoon to those of you that are joining us, and welcome to the live transmission. The tension within Somaliland society escalated as long reign continued. Since independence, Somali and Somaliland leaders have tended to favor members of their own clan, just as we have our own clan today. Tinubu is there, is our clan, is our man. That's why some people say, oh, because Tinubu is there, it seems that the Yoruba nation people are no longer agitating because they want Tinubu to be there. We know that the Hausas are just waiting, but they will never get there because the Fulani have overshadowed them already. Somali and Somaliland leaders have tended to favor members of their own clans and sub-clan with patronage. There are 6 main Somali clans with dozens of sub-clans, just as we have the 3 major ethnic groups, but we are marginalizing the Igbos because we believe that they are not part of Nigeria anyway. Because the North wants the power back after Tinubu. That is the arrangement on the table. If Wike likes, let him work for Tinubu. Election after Tinubu has completed his tenure, whether it's the first time, the second time, power goes back to the North. The Igbos will continue to be marginalized, and there will never be peace in Nigeria. The South is more heterogeneous. Burr may have exposed a doctrine of scientific socialism, a fusion of terrible governance ideas imported from China, North Korea, and the Nasserati Egypt, but it was not above ethnic nationalism, privileging his own Dagro clan, just as Buhari supported his own clan. Buhari brought his own people in, just as Tinubu is doing the same thing now. There's nothing bad in that. It's just that the Igbos are not happy. Why are you giving the Yoruba all the power? The Middle Belt are not happy. Well, you have to wait for your time. That's what they're telling them. And that is why they're waiting. Maybe Peter Obi will still become the president. Maybe Atiku will become the president, subject to the outcome of the electoral tribunal. I don't know. Again, during the 1980s, with the support of Barr, remember, Olowa in power. So he was using his own opportunity as being in power to subjugate, marginalize the other can and the sub-can, just as Tinubu has started already, even though Tinubu is trying to play the devil advocate. He wants to balance things. But we know that he has given all the juicy position to Yoruba people. He's not stupid. He's not going to give the chief of army staff to the Igbo because they can overthrow his government. You think Tinubu will be stupid? No, he's not going to be doing that. So Tinubu will say, Igbo people should wait. When he completes his tenure or his term, then they should come in and then they should put the Igbo people there as well. That is what is playing out in Nigeria today. The marginalization, the subjugation. We complain about that during Buhari. Yes, Tinubu is doing the same thing. And some Yoruba will say, what is wrong with that? Buhari did more than that. I don't know whether Jonathan did more than that as well. So let me move forward quickly. During the 1980s, with the support of Burr and his harsh military regime, eroding a primarily Isaac northern rebel group known somewhat misleading as the Somali National Movement emerged to challenge rule from Mogadishu. You can see what the West have done. Rather than have left them for everybody to have been separate since 1960. No, they didn't do that. And today, we are seeing every one of them fighting for their territories. As the Somali National Movement, YSNM, emerged to challenge rule from Mogadishu, the crackdown that follows simply added to the perception that the North was a region under occupation. This culminated in an all-out civil war between the SNM, known as the Somali National Movement, and the central government in the late 80s, during which thousands were killed and millions fled, just as we saw during the Biafra War. On the 18th of May 1991, the SNM proclaimed that the region was re-establishing its independence, severing its ties to the South. So they cut off but even though they are unrecognized in the world. So for 32 years, they've been operating a country that the world does not recognize. The world, for the most part, shrugged. The slow and steady process of a state formation in the north will be almost entirely overshadowed in the international media by the chaos engulfing the south, particularly after an international intervention 2 years later led to the infamous, I'm sure some of you remember that movie, Black Hawk Down, Black Hawk Down incident and the killings of 19 American troops during the Battle of Mogadishu. America will never forget that Black Hawk Down. So why has Somaliland been more successful and stable than its southern neighbor? Even with virtually no assistance from the international community, at least they are becoming one was stable there. The fact that it is largely populated by only one clan has helped it to avoid tribal conflict. Unlike some other countries in the region, most Somalilanders also point to the role of clan elders. In addition to a president and a traditional elected parliament, Somaliland has an unelected upper house of elders, somewhat similar to Britain's House of Lords. So they set up their own system, even though they are not recognized around the world. But they care less. They can't be bothered. Whether the world recognizes them or not, they are still operating as a country for 32 years, which has a consultative role on certain legislation and is also entrusted with settling disputes between the country sub-clans. It is the elder who really made this peace, Mohammed Omar Agi, a UK-based Somali activist, told me. Somaliland has been lucky to benefit from the leadership of a few individuals, mostly notable the country's most prominent global advocate, known as Aden, the most famous person in the country. She's generally just referred to in Somaliland as Edna. We don't have George Clooney, one local journalist told me, referring to the Hollywood star, advocacy on behalf of South Sudan independence. All we have got is this woman called Eden. When I met Eden at the maternity hospital and the midwifery school she runs in Agisa, which everyone just call Eden Hospital, she handed me a business card, which on the back features the caption, "Where is Somaliland?" with a question mark, with an arrow pointing to the country's location on a map of the Horn of Africa. Job one for Adam, who has traveled throughout the world, is simply telling people what and where our country is, just like what we are doing as well. Campaigning, telling everybody the Yoruba has been in existence. Nobody argue about that. But we don't want to have a declaration where the world is not going to recognize. We want a declaration Tibubu Abaye may recognize, and we can start our government as swiftly and as quickly as possible. Again, I can't get anyone to come here, she sighed. The teachers and the doctors cannot come to us because their government tell them not to. I don't know how you slip through the net. Aden's office was decorated with the photos of dignitaries she has met, from Hillary Clinton to Kofi Annan. The centerpiece was a striking photo of a very young Aden with her husband, Mohammed Ibrahim Egal, at the White House with Leonard B. Johnson in 1968, when Egal was the Prime Minister of Somalia. Aden was Somalia's first qualified nurse midwife and the first Somali woman to drive, just like Funmilayo Ransome Kuti. She spent years as a United Nations and World Health Organization official before returning to Somaliland to build the hospital with her own savings, just as AKINTOYE returned back after so many years outside Nigeria and stopped being political activist, part of any political whatever from 2006. Baba Akintoye stopped that as far back as 2006 because he never believed anymore in Nigeria. It is one of the premier facilities in the Horn of Africa. She's been called the Muslim Mother Teresa for her work in promoting women's health and campaigning against female genital mutilation. She also served for several years as Somaliland foreign minister, continued to deliver babies while on the job. What a very great woman. Although a political activist received less attention than a public health work. Can you imagine? They care less about the work of Baba Akintoye. No, they love Baba Akintoye's work internationally, but they're probably not interested in his work as a campaigner and as a leader of the Yoruba self-determination. Adan is also tireless advocate for Somali's independence. For 25 years, I have been waiting for the world to see how stable, peaceful, and governing we are. Imagine, this woman has been campaigning for 25 years. Àwọn Yoruba campaign for 2 years. They are already tired. Hey, we are tired though. Hey, Igboho. Hey, titi wa dànù. Àti lose iṣẹ́ wa. 2 years nìkan láti campaign o. Somebody has campaigned for 25 years and she's not giving up. Àwa ti campaign for 2 years. We are already tired. We are already giving up. We are already losing hope. Ẹlòmíì náà ò ṣe mọ́. I am not. It does not matter whether you do it or not. When we have the country, we will all be part of the country. It's as simple as that. But ẹ má tún wá kẹ wá fi wá da àárín àwa tá jọ ń ṣiṣẹ́ yẹn rú, just like that bastard woman that came to destroy the movement because she has nothing to offer. For 25 years, this particular woman has been working tirelessly to advocate for Somaliland independence for 25 years, telling the world, but do you know what? Maybe a prayer just got answered. I don't know. Because a British member of parliament now brought it to the table right here in UK. I'm going to come back to that article. Now, let's listen to what Sir Gavin Wilson of South Staffordshire, a conservative. Can we also have many MP to talk about Yoruba nation, to talk about Biafra nation, to talk about even Arewa, but fún àwa tá ń campaign, what can we do to push the message so that somebody can raise a bill? Imagine raising a bill in the parliament will make a big impact. Let me read this to us quickly. I beg to move that leave be given to bring in a bill to require His Majesty government to recognize formally the Republic of Somaliland, to make a provision in connection with the establishing of diplomatic relations with the Republic of Somaliland and for connected purposes. I draw the attention of the House to my entry in the registry of members' financial interest. Ìjọ ọ̀la máa rẹ́ni tó máa ní interest of Yoruba people to talk about this and raise a bill. The 4th of July is often known as Independence Day for a particular country, but I am not here to talk about the United States. I am here to talk about the Republic of Somaliland. On the 26th of June, 1960, Britain granted independence to the British Protectorate of Somaliland. It was in the Eurosphere of that moment that Somaliland, a few days later, entered into a union with the old Italian Trust Territory of Somaliland, a union that proved deeply unhappy. You can see what the British have done around the world. So when those of you in Nigeria saying, don't leave us alone, we love Nigeria, no problem, continue to love your oppressor. While it started in hope and optimism in 1960, that union ended in tragedy. It saw the rise of a brutal military dictatorship based in Mogadishu, whose next step were the persecution and the genocide of many Somalilanders. Yoruba people don't care because we are not the one being killed in the southeast. But the genocide is going on, but we are pretenders. Because we don't like Biafra. We don't like the Igbos. They are taking over Yoruba territory. So Amojuwakuro. While genocide is going on in the southeast, we are closing our eyes for the genocide that is taking place in the southeast part of Nigeria. We care less because we don't like the Igbo people. They are also marginalizing us in Lagos. They are the one operating everything. But at least we can tax them because they are paying tax to Sanwo-Olu in Lagos State. They pay tax to Tinubu. They pay tax to Ambode. But the Nigerians that are living with us do not pay any tax. We saw that even after the house that collapsed in that Lagos area, many Niger people were working in that building that died that never paid tax because they were living in that building. At least the Igbo people still go somewhere and live within Lagos. Even though we know that when you bring one in, before you close your eyes, and I'm not saying this because of anything. I have a fact. My mom's shop was almost taken away from us by an Igbo woman. And I know how long it took my mom to get that shop back. But notwithstanding, we eventually got the shop back. We gave her so many years, more than 5 years. Shop here, we gave it to somebody else. Somebody else already gave it to somebody else. But at least we know the person that gave it because they were still alive. Even if he has died, the shop belongs to us. We never sold it because we never have any agreement. Rather than us to focus on the real issue, we are there now talking about Biafra in the other way around. But they are not going to wait for me and you. They are working to exit this contraction. At least they're going to carve out. The worst case scenario is you can just tell every one of those after they have their own country to move away from Lagos. But those that doesn't want to move will tell you Yoruba is still part of Nigeria. So Tawabashi wà nínú Nigeria and Biafra carve out. You can still not tell those Igbos to leave Nigeria because Nigeria is still Yoruba land. So until we understand that Biafra lè lọ because they have their territory, they will just have a border. Tabafe travel through there. Is either there will be a new arrangement? I don't know. But should Biafra go and then we are still in Nigeria? That means that any Igbo tó bá ń gbé pẹ̀lú wa ẹ̀ nílé wọn. Àfi tá bá gba country tiwa, we can then control the border as well. It's a fact. There's nothing you can do to that. You might not be happy with that. It is a fact. Tí Yorùbá bá sì wà nínú Nàìjíríà, tí Biafra bá lọ, tún ní right láti sọ fáwọn Igbo tó ń gbé láàrin wa pé kó máa lọ. And I see some of our medias attack wọn. But do you know how many? I have a video that we have kept in our archive that is not going to go out. Níbi tó ti ń wa kùsà. I didn't see the Igbo people don't wa kùsà. All I saw were foreigners. But ẹni yẹn sọrúkọ bá kan, ìyẹn là ṣe gbé fídíò yẹn síta with evidence. Ó fún wa ní pépà yẹn, ó gbé jáde báyìí. Nígbà tí èmi àti bàá mi ta bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí interview ẹ̀, wọ́n chief dẹ̀ sọ fún mi pé fídíò yẹn gbọ́dọ̀ tí jáde for now. Èmi nìkan mo ní fídíò yẹn lọ́wọ́ because èmi nìkan mo record níjọ́ yẹn. Nobody record. Tá bá fi fídíò yẹn síta, á dá sùúrùtù sílẹ̀. But we kept that video. So ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wá ń pariwo, ẹ̀yin àwọn ọmọ Igbo, àwọn jókòó sínú kùsà, wọ́n wá gold. But genocide was also going on in Somaliland. Over the following years, that union saw a genocide unfolded with the loss of many lives, just as we saw Biafra and the British fighting while the Nigerian government was the one in charge of the Biafra fight on behalf of the British government. If there's going to be any fight again today, let me tell you, there will be change of pattern. There are countries that have different interests now. Even France had the interest. They did not support the Biafra. So talking about belle between the federal government of Bola Tinubu and the Igbo people, let me tell you, there will be different countries that will have different stake and different reasons to support Biafra. So don't think that they cannot fight. It's just a matter of time. So let's go further again. In the capital city of Somaliland, a South Somali Air Force jet rising to the sky and drop bombs to the people of Agasia. Some 90% of the city was completely destroyed. There was destruction in many other cities right across Somaliland, just as Biafra land was destroyed for 3 years. They thought they could not rise again, but they rose. They are fighters. Whether they are genuine, one of them, or ingenuine, but they are determined people. Igbo might say anything to survive. And we know that whether it is stealing, whether it is legitimate, whether it is not legitimate, it does not matter. They are survivors. So for after the war, they still survived, even though Biafra territory was destroyed by the British Empire in 1967. If you think it's going to be the same thing this time around in the 21st century, the Biafra have learned their mistakes. They've learned their mistakes and they are working on so many other areas. It's just for you to know. I'm still talking about this MP that is raising the motion, not the motion, a bill for the UK government to recognize Somaliland. Let's go further. That union also saw many of the nomadic tribes of Somaliland persecuted, just like we saw it with the Igbos. And we are still marginalizing them today. Doesn't mean they are good people. Doesn't mean that they are good people as well. But let everybody go their separate ways and protect their territory. Ijawala, Tepejayen, Onasumo. You think because Tinubu is there, the Igbo people care. They don't care about Tinubu. You think Simon Ekpa care if Tinubu send 10,000 soldiers? Even if you like, bring all the 200,000 soldiers into Biafra land. Any maku, any mayi. But when the war starts, it will trickle into the southwest. It's as simple as that. Because nobody will be able to travel through that region anymore. There will be blockage of everywhere. But I'm praying that Tinubu start the war first in the Niger Republic. Let Tinubu start the war. Mali started. Because he has already told us action is what is needed to take back the government. Let's continue with this member of parliament. Maybe we should listen to him. Do you want me to continue to read? Or if it borrow MP, I want to see people are sleeping or people are not even with me. If you want me to play the video of this MP that I'm reading now, just indicate quickly. Or if you want me to continue to say, read it quickly and then play the video later on. Maybe I should read it. Once again, the union also saw many of the nomadic tribes of Somaliland persecuted with their wells, their only source of life, which provide them vital water, being poisoned. Can you imagine? Deliberately poison the water that is being used in that particular well. We'll play the video later on as well. Let's just keep enjoying the program. But being poisoned, hundreds of thousands of people died in that genocide, just as more than 5 million people died. They are talking about the Adolf Hitler, but they refuse to talk about the war that the British fought, the Biafra that led to 5 million people that died. And you want peace to be in Nigeria? You must be joking. There will never be peace in Nigeria. The peace will never be in Nigeria because the federal government have not yet apologized for the genocide that took place in 1967. The British have not yet apologized for the war that they fought, the Biafra, because they're asking for their territory and they want to exit Nigeria. And you want peace. There will never be peace. Kò ní sí peace nínú Nigeria. Peace tẹ́ ń wá yẹn nítorí èmi àti yín ní rí peace nínú Nigeria. Kó bá wọn gbogbo church gbogbo Nigeria kó máa pray. Kò ní sí peace nínú Nigeria until we break that country up. It's as simple as that. The impact was not just on the people killed. Every single family in Somaliland was touched by the violence, and many families either were displaced within the borders of Somaliland and some had to flee, just as the Igbo were fleeing out of the territory during the Civil War. Today, some of them can't go back because you have destroyed that land. But those that are going back, they are trying their best. Hey, go back to your land. Go and build your land. Don't come to Lagos, Oloshi. Why did they not bring the port in the southeast to work? It's because they know that if you let that Warri port to work, Igbo people will not bring their goods anymore through Apapa. But they want money now. You want to take their money, but we don't love them. Bomb bastard. Yes, I call Yoruba people bomb bastard. Then, do you know how many containers are shipped by the Igbo people into Apapa? Oh, you don't want them, but you want their money. Then let Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at least before we divide it, that nonsense Olori Buruku with the country, let him fix Warri Port so that the Igbos will not use Apapa anymore. Let it be a functioning port that can be put in place within 1 year from today. He's not going to do that because he needs Apapa port, because Apapa is the money making for Lagos State. Bomb bastard. Come here, come and tell me rubbish. The same thing was happening during the Somaliland. People were fleeing all over the place because the war was going on there. We in this country, this is the MP talking now. Only we in this country should take pride in the fact that we welcome so many of those Somaliland to our shores, and that made us their own. So many Somalilanders are done in the past. It is that connection, a connection that goes back long before independence, that ties our two nations together. Just as we are telling the British people, the British government rather, not the British people. The British people are very good people. They are lovely people. And we love them so much because some of them don't even like their government. If you sit with them, you will know. I sat with them last week in a journalist meeting that we had for 3 hours. I pity a lot of you that believe in BBC. Once again, a very good afternoon. Out of that genocide, out of that civil war, we saw the emergency once again of an independent country. That is what is about to play out. I will not be surprised tí Simon Ekpa tí kò bá declare Biafra. I know he's putting everything in place. Simon Ekpa is telling you that àwọn máa jà ní. Èmi sọ yẹn tẹ́lẹ̀ ní no Koiki àwọn ní láti jà. We are going through diplomacy. That's fine. But if you think that the Biafra will not fight, I don't know whether they have the gun to fight or not, because I don't have to say that on the social media. But go and listen to Simon Ekpa, you will think he's joking. You think Simon Ekpa is joking? You think that man is joking? Oh my God. I saw a video of another Igbo man. I'm sure some of you have been posting the video, especially Yoruba people, that was showing us the new Israel trains underground station. You know, the guy put the picture back, the camera back in his face. He said, tí wàhálà yẹn bá bẹ̀rẹ̀, tó bá bí òun dáadáa, tó má sọ̀kalẹ̀. I'm sure you all saw that video. The guy said, I will make my way back to Biafra land and I'm going to carry arms. People are just waiting. The Biafrans are just waiting for the all go and they will fight. They are waiting for the all go from their leader and they will ready to defend that territory with their blood. But Yoruba people, I don't think we are ready yet. Out of that genocide, out of that civil war, we saw the emergency once again of an independent country. This country is known as Somaliland. In 1991, Somaliland was able to declare itself free from Somalia. The Biafra would declare themselves out of Nigeria. Eni maku maku, eni mayima yeni. It's as simple as that. The world is not going to end. Okay? The world is not going to end. So if you think that Biafra cannot declare, Yoruba cannot declare, you'll be joking. They will declare and the world is not going to come down. The worst case scenario is they will box them, but there will be no crude oil coming from that region anymore for the time being. Gas is top back that day, ni worry yẹn, ni gbogbo area yẹn, it will stop as well. Oh, ni gas yẹn gbé jáde mọ́. And I pray that the Niger junta should not listen to anybody. Hold on there until further notice. At least you're giving us 3 years. I am now praying for ECOWAS to go and attack so that everything can start as swiftly as possible. That's what I am waiting for. Moki Bubuale Konsi. Moki Omode, Moki Agbalagba. My name is Olami Koiki, and this is an educational program. It's not a violent program. It's just to educate you and tell you what is stuff going on around the world. So we're almost there. Let's read quickly, because I'm doing a lot of analysis around it. That is why it's a bit slow, and that's the only way you can get the message. It was able to stand proud, independent, away from the persecution and the genocide that it has suffered for long. Just like we have suffered the same thing, the other have suffered the same thing. Everybody have suffered in that country, but nobody has the balls to come out and say we are ready to go. They have listened to countries such as Britain, the United States, France, and Germany, which have turned to them and said, we expect certain things, a democratic process, a parliamentary, a presidential election, a judicial process. The same thing they are telling Niger. Niger say, F word, I care less. Niger say, toss up, toba bi, eyida, enyema bonisale. Niger sọ fún Nigeria àti ECOWAS pé toba bi wọn dá, invade our country and let's see what is going to happen. It's going to be scatter in the southwest, in the west, southwest of Africa, whatever I call it. We expect you to be welcoming and safe place for people to visit. Somaliland has delivered that. Yet, we still wait for recognition. For 32 years, they've been operating as a country, but no person around the world or countries around the world, United Nations, African Union, they do not want to recognize them. So this member of parliament is now raising a bill in the parliament. This happened last month, not last year. Let's go further. Somaliland is a country doing everything that it believes people expect a democratic, free country to be doing. But it asks for something in return. The people of Somaliland have, over so many decades, been willing to look to Britain as friend. In fact, when we were in our greatest need, so can you imagine that? Listen to this. I'm reading this for the first time myself. When they were in their greatest need during the Second World War, the people of Somaliland joined with our battle against fascism. Can you imagine how many Yoruba people, Igbo people, Hausa people fought a war that was not our own war? World War I, World War II. They were using our people for fighting, and some of them did not get paid for that. Do you know that? Because they were still our masters there, and we're not colonizers. So they just took a bunch, just like my sister, Dr. Ugu, took a bunch of people that doesn't understand anything and put us together. And today, so many Yoruba people are still loving Nigeria. Do you know that our forefathers fought for World War I? I'm sure if you go back to your history, you should be able to enter UK because your father fought, not your father, this one that born you. I'm talking about during World War I. Trace back your roots. You will realize that your grandparents, your great-grandparents fought in that war, but the British government is not paying any dime to them today. Because they didn't value them as anybody. So this MP is now reminding all his other colleagues in the House that you know that this country, these people, during the war of the Second World War, the people of Somaliland joined us with our battle against fascism. They fought side by side with the British soldiers. And to donate to support our movement, I'm talking about my own support now. I'm not talking about the YSDM now. The way you can do that is all the details being posted out there. You can do so by any way you want. Coffee. Some of you want to support. There's nothing called super chat for us. It's been removed in the last 5 months, going to 6 months. But if you think that, supporting, donating to good journalism is a good job, you can do it through the First Bank, 309-680-8848 with my full name on it. If it's not mine, don't bother. You can also send through musakalam1@yahoo.com. If you're not too sure, just get in touch with me. Can you rewrite that email with a .com and space the PayPal? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's okay. I can see that. So that's the PayPal. So when we say support Koikimedia, we are make sure to specify it is voluntary donation. Don't support and say, Koiki, I gave you money for Yoruba Nation. Where's the money? Idiots all over the place. Let's continue. They fought side by side with the British soldiers. When I was in Agasia, I visited the Commonwealth War Grave Cemetery, where I saw British names and the names of Somalilanders. Blood was spilled by both our nations for those common values and interests. We now need to set up as a nation and do something more than just there. It is time to recognize Somaliland. This is the MP talking now. Why our own member of parliament in Nigeria, all they are looking for is marry wife, do girlfriend, buy bulletproof car. We have 71 Yoruba people representing us in Abuja. They are as bomb bastard as anything else. And the woman in there, they are all crazy. They're careless. They should be raising the motion that Yoruba people wants to go, but they want to keep on Nigeria. Bomb bastard, glory brutal people. And some of you love this oppressor because some of you are crazy as well. Anyway, we're almost there. And after this, I'll play the video. For too long, we have resisted that. We always find excuses, just as they are finding excuses now. They know that there's no election in Nigeria. The British, that short woman devil. You know the woman I call short woman devil. I don't want to mention her name. She's a short woman devil. You know her. The election was rigged, but it is okay. You can wait another year. You can wait another 4 years. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that they knew that the election was rigged? Is that the way they rig election in UK? Is that the way they rig election in America? But now it's Africa now. we are monkeys, we are baboons. We are going to be the one to tell them we are not the monkey of 1960. We are the monkey of 24. Because I see monkey, they press breast in the zoo now. I don't know whether they were doing that before. I'm sure some of you have seen those videos. Sorry, our women and sisters that are on the broadcast, it's not the right phrase to be used, but it's just the right thing that is there. So they call us monkey, but today, monkey no they chop banana anymore, sir. Monkey they chop proper food. Go and look at, I mean, not that I'm promoting in that cage. There's one man, I don't know whether it's Hausa, it's a Yoruba or Igbo or Niger. He put a Agama lizard on a, I mean, this is crazy. Hello, Linda KG, Instagram. I can't show it. The young man is waiting for a bus with Agama lizard on the shoulder. Behind Tomiko Mari ni, and Konoma Fiche Pepper Soup ni. That is the Lagos. Only God knows the kind of bacteria. Bí bàbá yẹn ṣe ń lọ nísìn tí kìíní ẹ̀ máa split tó máa tutọ́ sísàlẹ̀ because kò bọ́ ẹnu ẹ̀. Kò bọ́ ẹnu Agama lizard yẹn. I'm not talking about small lizard though. Massive lizard. How many people have seen it? You know, just like myself. Maybe you've seen it on another platform. I saw it on Linda KG. Not that I'm promoting Linda KG, but I go there and see what is going on her page. This man carry in Lagos, so this one no be Igboho o. O gbe lizard yẹn, o gbe seji kabai, kabesi Elédùmarè. Ah! Lagos igbagbakugbasha. This is why we say we don't even know bí àyẹn wá láti Somali ni, bí wá láti Niger ni, bí láti Senegal ni. And only God knows the kind of venom that thing is spitting all over the place. Ẹlòmíì adé gbẹ́sẹ̀ sí. Agbẹ́sẹ̀ yẹn àti gbẹ́sẹ̀ yẹn wọnúlé. Each time I go to Lagos or I travel to Nigeria, I must make sure I have my bath before I even go on my bed. Because that place is madness. Let's continue. For too long, we have resisted. We always find this MP is telling their government, they always find excuses, inaction. Now is the time for us to start being brave and reward the people who are doing the things that we as a nation ask them to do. Somaliland does not live in the easiest of neighborhood. It has difficult neighbor, but it is a democratic country that wants to educate its boys and girls and has a fair and robust judicial system. Those are the things that we need to reward. We need to put them on a pedestal and say, this is an example that we want others to follow. But the monarchy system doesn't want to do that. They're not ready to do that. I say that if the government of United Kingdom will not take the action that is required, let it be that the British House of Commons that leads the way. If the Foreign Commonwealth and that one, when you hear Foreign and Commonwealth and Development Office, many Nigerians love those kind of names because they go under there, they need pound sterling. They give them their NGO. Some of them are doing good job. I know them. They know how to collect money from the Commonwealth and Development because they want to go and develop Okukumaiko, their village that doesn't have light. Somebody where they work on the stomach that need wheelchair. Somebody where we need all kind of things. Instead of every one of us to say, no, that is not what we need. Do you think AIDS is what we need? We don't need AIDS. What we need is a full sovereignty of our land. But so many people don't want that. They're not interested in that. All they want is just the peanut from the British government and the Americans and the Europeans. Some people know how to collect money from the United Nations. I know a particular guy. He knows how to collect money from all these organizations. That is what he has done all his life from university days. And I'm not joking. If I give you his name now, you go and check his Instagram, you will see he knows every who is who around the world. And they'll go and do small scale projects in Nigeria and take pictures and upload that. Let's continue. We're almost there. I'm still talking about Somaliland. I still have another country to talk about, but I want to complete the Somaliland, and I think I'm getting there. We are not doing too bad. We're just almost 2 hours. Okay, I've spent so much time, but it's okay. Even if I don't catch the other country, we'll still talk about Somaliland very well. Somaliland is what we are discussing. As we look at Somaliland, we see a country that is developing and that has investment coming into it. Think that because Biafra will declare, you think that other countries will not like to work with them. If Britain doesn't want to work with them, they'll work with other countries. They will now control their own airspace. If Nigeria bring their military there, they'll bring it down. That is if they officially take their territory. And if any of their politicians refuse to listen to them, they'll go in exile. They'll go and be living in Abuja. I thank the British government for the investment in the Barbara port and the highway north of, you see, that's what they like to do. Go and do small investment. The port, you hear the port. They know that is where the container will be going through. They go and put investment in the Barbara port, the highway north to Agassia. But by simple act of recognition is what they need. We could transform the lives of 5.7 million people, making every single one of them more prosperous. That is what Yoruba people don't want to. Nigerians don't want to be prosperous, but they want to go to church. They want to go to Mashalashi. They want to go to all their Isheshe. When we can have a system that works, where we can have a system that will prosper, where we can have a system that will be fruitful for us. We're now almost there, and I'm going to play the video, and I can take a short break while the video is playing. Somaliland may seem a far-off place. I recognize that a nation of 5.7 million perhaps does not seem significant to Britain, but it is. It plays a pivotal role in Africa. I urge this House to take the action that is required to support the Republic of Somaliland and ensure that we deliver for its people as they have defended what we value so dearly, democracy and freedom. This was by this MP. The bill read the first time and to be read the second time on Friday, 24th of November. Back end team, note date, 24th of November. I must follow up with the outcome. So I'm going to close that because I have too many things open. That is the MP that I've just read his bill to the member of parliament, or to the House rather. Now, let's go and watch the video that he put together on this particular motion. Let's listen to him right now. I do not own the copyright. It's for educational purpose. My name is Koiki. This is koikimedia. Enjoy this. I'm coming back.
Madam Deputy Speaker, I beg that leave be given to bring in a bill to require His Majesty's Government to recognise formally the Republic of Somaliland, to make provision in connection with the establishing of diplomatic relations with the Republic of Somaliland and for connected purposes. If I could also draw the House's attention to the register of my interest. Madam Deputy Speaker, the 4th of July is often known as an Independence Day for another country, but I'm not here to talk about the United States, but actually the Republic of Somaliland. On the 26th of June in 1960, Britain granted independence to the British Protectorate of Somaliland. And it was in that euphoria, in that moment, that Somaliland a few days later entered into a union with the old Italian trust territories of Somaliland. But this proved to be a deeply unhappy union. Madam Deputy Speaker, that union, while it started off in hope, while it started off in optimism, ended up in tragedy. You saw the rise of a brutal military dictatorship based in Mogadishu, whose next steps were the persecution and the genocide of so many Somalilanders. Over the preceding years, you saw a genocide that unfolded that saw the loss of so many lives. You're not just talking about tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of lives. In the capital city of Somaliland, you saw Somali Air Force jets rising to the skies to drop bombs on the people of Hargeisa. 90% of the city was completely destroyed, but also not just in Hargeisa, but so many cities right across Somaliland. You saw so many of the nomadic tribes of Somaliland persecuted, with their only source of life, the wells that provided them vital water, being poisoned. Hundreds of thousands of people died in that genocide, and sadly, so much of the world did not notice or paid no attention. And it wasn't just the people that were killed. Every single family in Somaliland was affected by this, that was touched by this violence. But so many families were displaced, even within the own borders of Somaliland, or they had to flee to neighbouring countries. such as Ethiopia and Djibouti. Now, we should take a great sense of pride in this country because, of course, we welcome so many of those Somalilanders to our shores, and they made us their home like so many Somalilanders have done in the past. And it's that connection, a connection that goes long before the independence, that actually ties our two nations together. Out of that genocide, out of that civil war, you saw the emergence once again of an independent country. In 1991, Somaliland was able to declare itself free of Somalia. It was able to stand proud and independent away from the persecution and the genocide that they had suffered for so long. But they have asked the world for over 30 years now for recognition. They have asked the world to recognize what is there on the Horn of Africa. And they've listened to countries such as Britain and the United States, France and Germany, that has turned to them and said, well, we expect certain things. We expect a democratic process, parliamentary elections, presidential elections. We expect a judicial process. We expect you to educate your boys and girls. We expect you to be welcoming and a safe place for people to visit. And Somaliland has delivered that. Yet they still wait. They still wait for recognition from countries such as Britain, the United States, France, Germany, and so many others. And that wait is too long. Madam Deputy Speaker, in Somaliland, you have a country that is doing everything that it believes that people expect a democratic, free country to be doing. But it does ask for something in return. The people of Somaliland over so many decades have been willing to look to Britain as a friend. In fact, when we were at our greatest need during the Second World War, the Somaliland people joined with us against our battle against fascism. They fought side by side with British soldiers. When I was in Hargeisa and visited the Commonwealth War Grave Cemetery, you saw British names in that cemetery, and you saw Somalilanders' names in that cemetery. Blood was spilt by both our nations for those common values and common interests. But we now need to step up as a nation. We now need to do something more than actually just being there. It is time to recognize. For too long we have resisted that. We always find excuses for inertia and inaction. Now is the time for us to start to be brave and actually reward the people that are doing the things that we as a nation ask them to do. Somaliland does not live in the easiest of neighborhoods. It has difficult neighbors. But being a democratic country, being a country that wants to educate its boys and its girls by having a judicial system that is fair and robust, these are things that we need to be rewarding. This is what we need to be putting on a pedestal to say, this is an example that we want others to follow. Madam Deputy Speaker, I say that if the government is not going to take the action that is required, let it be the British House of Commons that takes the lead. Let it be the House of Commons that leads the way. If the FCDO is deaf, let us show what the will is for us to recognise what is a nation. A country which has its own processes of judiciary, it has its elections, it has every function of a democratic nation that we want to see. So if the government is reluctant to do it, let this House do it. Let us make sure that we reward those who are doing what is needed and is required. As we look at Somaliland, you see a country that is developing. You see a country that has got investment coming into it. And I'd like to thank the British government for the investment in Berber Port, the investment on the highway north to Hargeisa. But by the simple act of recognition, You can transform the lives of 5.7 million people, making every single one of them more prosperous, enabling Somaliland, a good ally of this country, to play a bigger role on the world stage and play a vital role in supporting the values that we in this house hold dear. Madam Deputy Speaker, I know that it may seem a very far off place. I recognise that maybe a nation of 5.7 million people does not seem significant to Britain, but it is significant. It plays a pivotal role in terms of Africa, and I urge this House to take the action that is required to support the Republic of Somaliland and make sure that we deliver for the people of Somaliland as they have defended what we value so dearly, which is democracy and freedom.
How did you feel listening to that man, that member of parliament? Hey, imagine tó bá yẹ pé ó ń put case Yoruba nation náà síwájú báyìí. This is what we need. This is why we are saying that because àwọn bàfún ló ń sọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. Mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ètò, mo kí Azeez, mo kí gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ wà lórí ìjókòó. So tẹ́mi bá jókòó síbí bàtà ń sọ fún yín pé this is what they call diplomacy. Ó ti gbé wá sórí tébù nísìn ẹja wá gbọ́kàn tí ẹni tí ó jẹ́ lead wọn níbẹ̀ òun ti wá tẹ́ndẹ̀ ẹja gbọ́kàn tó fẹ́ sọ.
The question is that the right honourable member have leave to bring in the bill. Spares that opinion, say aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it.
That is what we need. The ayes have it. So now they will go to the second reading on November 24. This is what we call diplomacy. Kò ní ṣe tí ìyá Dagboru tó sọ fún yín pé hey no, it doesn't work like that. Ẹ wá gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ní bíbá. Jókòó tó ń sọ jágbàjàgbà fún yín.
The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Who is going to prepare and bring the bill? Ó ti di bill. Wọ́n gbọ́dọ̀ sọ̀rọ̀ ilé lórí. This is what we need. We must tell the British Parliament that we need them to start talking about this amalgamation. But irọ́. Ẹ má jáde mọ́ o, ìtẹ̀sẹ̀ náà ti tó, wọ́n ti gbọ́ yín, níbo ló ti gbọ́ yín? Until tó bá sọ̀rọ̀ ní Parliament, then I'm up with yes, we are in the first place. So this Somalian or Somaliland is just one of the test cases. There are so many countries that fought for British, but some of them, they are still not recognized.
Mr. Clive Betts, Sir Robert Buckland, Dr. Lisa Cameron, Alan Cairns, John Speller, Ian Paisley, Alex Shelburne, Paul Bromfield, Alexander Stafford, Kim Johnson, and myself, Madam Deputy Speaker.
Can you imagine that? Almost about 7 or 6 names. Look at that day. I want to tọ̀dọ̀ tí wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe yẹn ní Nigeria because Nigeria is a bigger picture. I mean, kí ni nǹkan mélòó ni Somaliland ní compare sílẹ̀ Yorùbá? Kí ló rò pé ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ní? Wàá rí pé ìyàtọ̀ ti ń bẹ níbẹ̀. That's the bill. Oya submitted. O máa bow. Oya kọ́kọ́ lọ síbẹ̀. Oya bow.
Sir Gavin Williamson.
Oya submitted. Ó ti di bill. Oya lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Oya gbé fún wọn. Lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí. Oya ẹgbàá lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Oya ẹ̀fọn tẹ̀ sí. Oya ọtí fún.
Republic of Somaliland Recognition Bill.
Kábíyèsí lọ́dúnmọ́rè. Àná ẹ máa wá sórí program kẹwàá rí bí nǹkan ṣe ń work. Àti gba country, àwa ń shield ẹ̀, àbẹ́kíyàn kankan rí, àbẹ́kíyàn kan mọ̀ nípa ẹ̀.
Second reading what day?
Friday the 24th of December.
Ṣètìbọ́.
Friday the 24th of November.
Second reading.
Thank you. And now we proceed.
I hope you enjoyed that. So we're going to close that. Once again, my name is Alami Koiki. So we've talked about the Somaliland, and as we are now going to the next part of the program, which is another country. So I'm going to close this one I'm going to close this one. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to use this one because we've talked about Somaliland too much.
If you've got more than enough money coming in each month.
What Somaliland hoped for independence. Okay, this was 10 years ago. Maybe we should just listen to this from the perspective of Al Jazeera.
This MiG jet bombed the city in 1988 before it crashed. It's been turned into a monument, but people don't need to be reminded of Somaliland's brutal war with Somalia. Even the young feel bitter. For them, Somaliland has a right to independence.
You hear that? Somaliland has a right to independence. Just as the Yoruba has a right, just as the Biafra has a right, Ido has a right, even the Arewa has a right. Everybody has a right to independence, but they say, no, we don't want independence, we want Nigeria.
So I feel my ownership of my right to freedom, right to choose the president that I like.
Is that not what we are fighting for as well? A Somaliland man is saying he has his right. But some people say, no, we don't want that right to. We will block that right. Let's listen again.
So Somaliland independence has a similar value with the air that we are breathing.
Somaliland has its own constitution, its own parliament, and even its own currency, the Somaliland shilling. But without international recognition, it can't get the foreign investment it needs.
It is Somalia which has received all the recognition.
Did you hear that? Did you see? It is Somali that is getting all the recognition. This is David Cameron. You can see that they are hypocrites. The West. They don't shake away. And they gave Somaliland independence in 1967. But you can see the hypocrisy that is playing out now. Somali conference, but they don't want to recognize Somaliland.
At a recent conference in London.
This was in 2013. So you can see that I didn't know this. I mean, then I didn't have understanding of it because we were still one Nigeria as of 2013. But Baba Akintoye was like, no, one Nigeria. Because in 2013, I didn't understand this before, but now I get the message. I was only understanding it. But some of us started getting the understanding of, okay. So when they were doing this conference then, there was another part of that part that was not happy. You can see why education of our people must continue. Not and you're buying into that nonsense.
Donors pledged millions of dollars. The president of Somaliland refused to attend the talks. The president of Somalia has made it very clear in speeches, and he's been very clear about this, that he wants a united Somalia.
Well, I think I have been very clear too, that we are going to retain our independence.
Yeah.
But we would like to remain friends with Somalia. We would like to.
They will still want to be friends with Somalia. Did you hear that? Just as we want to be friends with our neighbors after we have exited Nigeria.
With them, but as far as our independence is concerned, it's not I who had said it, it's not my government who said. It's the people of Somaliland and the history of Somaliland which has decided that Somaliland is going to be. Somaliland has always been a different country.
It's easy to understand why people here feel abandoned. While war raged in Somalia for decades, Somaliland has managed to unite its people. It's now the biggest exporter of livestock to Saudi Arabia. Much of the progress has been down to Somalis.
Did you hear that? The largest exporter to Saudi Arabia. But our from Saudi Arabia in millions of naira every year, or billions rather.
Money from abroad.
Whether it is a conflict resolution, whether it is building of our government, sustainability of peace, and the independent parties and elections, all of that we are doing ourselves. No support at all.
The African Union has dismissed Somaliland's calls for independence.
African Union is as rubbish as nonsense. They're not going to support them because they're the puppet of the West.
International community seems unwilling to back recognition.
You see? Unwilling to back recognition.
The people here say they'll never give up.
So do we want to go and declare a Yoruba nation that we will not get recognition? Is that what we want? Or we want to put as much diplomacy so that even if we declare tomorrow, we declare next year, we declare in another 6 months, I don't know when that is going to ever happen. we want to make sure that we have as much support from many countries around the world.
Hope of statehood, no matter what.
So that is about that. The next country, Timofe sorry, Lori. I don't have to play this one. I don't need that. There's a country called Nagorno-Karabakh. Nagorno-Karabakh is the next country I want to talk about. Let's hope I have a bit of time. Maybe, let's see. Let me stop this one. Let's take calls. Lori Tatibo. I can do that tomorrow so that it will not be too much for us. Can I digest the Somali one here? You can call in. Let's leave this Nagoma because it's gonna take time, and I don't want to go past my 3 hours in my broadcast. So let me just tell you that I will be talking about this particular one. It's another interesting place, but let me just play this video of this lawyer just to help us because he still works towards the other country. That's really. This lawyer is this video was 2 years ago. I don't own the copyright. They are what they call the Promise Institute of Human Rights. Let's just listen to part of what she's going to talk about.
And she has published widely on subjects ranging from genocide to crimes against humanity, remedial secession, and the responsibility to protect. These are our 4 panelists for today. As I mentioned, we will then be joined in addition by a guest speaker who I will introduce after our opening panel. And with that, I turn the floor over to you, Melania.
Thank you so much, Asla. It's truly a pleasure to be here. International law does not directly address the legality of remedial secession. Scholars have advanced the position that international law merely tolerates remedial secession as a fait accompli, such as in the case of Kosovo. In addition, most scholars agree that secessions accomplished through illegal means, such as the use of force, are illegal, as in the case of Northern Cyprus. Moreover, international law contains 2 additional norms and principles on territorial integrity and self-determination, which are pertinent to this issue of secession, but which do not definitively explain why some secessions seem to occur and be successful, and why others might be frozen, such as in the case of Artsakh, the disputed area between Azerbaijan and Armenia. Artsakh, which is an area predominantly inhabited by ethnic Armenians, has been a part of Azerbaijan during both the Soviet era as well as post-Azerbaijan independence. The province has claimed the right to separate from Azerbaijan, and conflict has plagued the region, escalating again in the fall of 2020. Can international law provide definitive answers to the issue of Artsakh's attempted secession? Does international law allow secession in these cases, or does international law prohibit secession? And if international law tolerates secession as a fait accompli, what would happen if Artsakh declared independence? Would it automatically become a state? In this presentation, I will attempt to shed light on these difficult international law issues and explain what relevant international law norms and principles as well as precedent tell us about Artsakh's struggle for secession in independence. So first, does international law contain an international law right to secession? The short answer is no. International law does not contain a positive law norm which recognizes that peoples or other groups have the explicit right to secession. However, it might be argued that international law tolerates secession and is in fact neutral on secession and accepts successful secessions as a fait accompli. International law, as I mentioned, does prohibit secessions accomplished through the use of force, as in the case of Northern Cyprus, but otherwise tolerates secessionist end results, such as, for example, in the case of Kosovo. Second, international law does contain a right to self-determination for all peoples, which is the right of groups which qualify as peoples to auto-determine their political fate. The right to self-determination exists in an internal form, which entails autonomy for the relevant people within the territory of an existing larger mother state, but also in an external form, which entails a remedial secession for the relevant people. The right to self-determination is enshrined in the United Nations Charter, in the International Covenants on Civil and Political Rights, and on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, as well as in several UN declarations, such as the 1970 Friendly Relations Declaration. The right to self-determination was the theoretical and legal underpinning of decolonization in the 1960s and in the 1970s, and it remains clear in international law that colonized peoples, whose governments are not representative of their interests, have the right to self-determination in its external form through the exercise of secession. What remains unclear under international law is whether the right to self-determination applies to the same extent in the non-decolonization paradigm, whether non-colonized peoples have the right to self-determination, and particularly the right to external self-determination. This is really the relevant question for Artsakh, because we are talking about a non-colonized people. The Canadian Supreme Court has suggested in 1998, in the context of the proposed secession of Quebec, that oppressed peoples might have the right to external self-determination exercised through remedial secession in extreme circumstances of oppression. The International Court of Justice has steered clear of making proclamations regarding the right to self-determination for non-colonized peoples in its Kosovo advisory opinion a decade ago, but this can be read as implicitly recognizing the right to external self-determination through remedial secession.
All right, I'm going to pause there. This is from she's using the word secession, but as we know, there's different people that project it in different ways. Ìlú tó ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, òun lélẹ̀. Like I said, we will focus on that tomorrow because of the time. We only have just about half an hour to the end of this program due to our timing. It's called the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Let me just give us some kind of background to read a little bit. The Nagorno-Karabakh conflict is the longest running in the post-Soviet Russia. In 1988, ethnic Armenians living in Nagorno-Karabakh demanded the transfer of what was then the Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast from the Soviet Azerbaijan to Armenia. As the Soviet Union collapsed, tension grew into an outright war. When the fight ceased in 1994, Nagorno-Karabakh and the 7 adjacent districts were wholly or partially controlled by the Armenian forces. More than 1 million people have been forced from their homes. Azerbaijan fled Armenia, Nagorno-Karabakh and their adjacent territories, while Armenians left homes in Azerbaijan. From 1994 up until 2020, intermittent deadly incidents, including the use of attack drones, heavy weaponry on the front lines and activities of the Special Operations Forces, demonstrated the ever-present risk that war will reignite. So if the man say pé fẹ́ ogun, ní fẹ́ ogun, Ọlọ́run jẹ́ kógun wà. Okay, tẹ́ ẹ bá fẹ́ ogun, we must sit together as quickly as possible and resolve as many of the conflict tó wà láàrin wa. But ẹ bá ní kò ní ṣẹlẹ̀, eventually something will lead to something. Now, in April 2016, 4 days of intense fighting at the line of separation shook the region, killed hundreds on both sides, and foreshadowed what was to come. The dam broke in September 2020, which was just 3 years ago, and a full-fledged war resumed. On the 27th of that month, 6 weeks of bloody armed conflict finally ended in the early hours of the 10th of November with a ceasefire broke by the Russian Federation. So when people are saying that we do not want war, fẹ́ ogun, well, nobody wants war, but we must come to the round table and discuss the issue pertaining to Nigeria's existence today. If we refuse to do so, we are calling for war. Okay? Kò ń ṣọ̀dọ̀ wa nìkan ló ti máa kọ́kọ́ ja ogun. Tẹ máa rò pé ẹ̀yin lè avoid it. No. Moreover, ogun ti wà lẹ́nu ọ̀nà wa because ECOWAS says we are going to take Niger back to democratic elected president. And the Niger coup junta, Tichani say, because we have 3 years to run the affairs and hand over again. Shout out to those of you that are joining us and those that have been with us in the last 2.5 hours. My name again is Olami Koiki. So, mo kàn fún yín ní background to some of the histories of what is happening and what is still happening. Let's go further. So, Russia no break in láti jẹ́ kí ceasefire ṣẹlẹ̀. Although the deal falls short of a clear and stable peace, it brought an end to the deadliest fighting the region had witnessed in nearly 30 years, with over 7,000 military and about 170 civilians killed and many more wounded. If we say we don't want a war, then the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should not go to Niger and also discuss with those agitating for the right. Don't say they cannot do anything. What are they going to do? I'm not saying we can do anything, but bear it at the back of your mind. Something can be done, and whatever can be done is going to create a big impact. Fẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń béèrè aṣọ tá à ń fi sórí status wa, orí olókùn yẹn is 15,000. The other ones are 10,000. If you are interested, whether you are outside Nigeria or you are in Nigeria, let me know, and it can be made for you as quickly as possible, even with the color that you decide. I'm talking to those that have seen that, I think I might be able to show you later on. So if you're interested in it, let me know. So, once again, the rest is patrolled by the Russian peacekeeping force, but still governed by the self-proclaimed local authority. So that is what the woman is discussing here about this country called Nagorno-Karabakh. Let's listen again just for a few more minutes, and then we will then come out of this. Remember, United Nations, I picked this up as well. United Nations called for urgent meeting amid humanitarian crisis in Nagorno-Karabakh region. This was July 28th. The United Nations do not give you a country. Their job is to make sure that there's no crisis in the world. But there will be crisis when people are asking for their rights and nobody wants to talk about their rights. You think you can just rubbish anybody. Muki went on Instagram with me. Sorry for those of you that normally listen to us on the MixLR. We are having some big technical difficulties from there. We hope to be resolving that as quickly as possible. The United Nations Security Council should schedule an emergency meeting Wednesday in response to a call from Armenia. Armenia saying the mainly Armenia populated region of Nagorno-Karabakh in the neighboring Azerbaijan is blockaded, and about 120,000 people are now facing hunger and a full-fledged humanitarian catastrophe. Just as we are seeing that might happen between Niger and Nigeria. Already, Nigeria has disconnected the electricity to Niger. Everybody's aware of that. Nigeria has also blocked everything that is meant to go through Niger because ECOWAS says Niger must return power to the constitution elected president. Niger say F word, enyemabo. So what do you think is going to happen? So mo kàn fún yín ní background of onse ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa nìkan ni tension ni wà. There is tension all over the world, but it is those flyers are actually blocking. Let me take that off. It's onse ọ̀dọ̀ tiwa nìkan. There is tension around the world, but it is how you want to manage it that will make a big difference. Tẹ́ bá dẹ̀ sọ pé ẹ fẹ́ manage it, no problem. But the tension is not going to go away. If you think that you can just bypass the Biafra because they are agitating and you think it's just online, it's okay. but they are not going anywhere. If you think you can bypass the Yoruba people agitating and you say you don't care, they are not going anywhere. They are still going to be there. Their voice must be heard by the government so that we do not have a dispute between the government and those agitating. So far, the Yoruba people have not carried arms against the government. So I'm going to come back into my full screen, then I can start appreciating some of you that have joined us so far, in the last 2 hours, 30 minutes in this broadcast. Again, Yoruba Nation, like I said, is in a good safe hand with Professor ADEBANJI Stephen AKINTOYE, the oracle of our time. We are also in a safe hand with BANJI AYILOGE, the deputy of the Yoruba self-determination. Just as we are also very, very comfortable with the leader that is well loved and respected, and that is Babawa Dr. Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, aka Sunday Igboho. With these three people and with the support of all the Yoruba people, look, we can't get all the Yoruba people to be on our side, but the little to are on our side, let us put our effort to YSDM and let us continue our campaign. Èèyàn kan ló bá lè máa bá sọ̀rọ̀, fine. Mr. Koiki, mo bá wọn sọ̀rọ̀, wọ́n ọ̀gbọ́n náà ni, no problem. At the appropriate time, wọ́n máa gbọ́n tàn so. Into my ẹ̀kọ́ gbọ́ is also coming and is facing. I know after 83 or 84 days, the president has now put together all his team that is going to work for him. It's not going to make any impact in the lives of Yoruba people. Neither is it going to make any impact in the lives of many Nigerians. Ẹ wo bí Wike gan ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀, ó ń sọ̀rọ̀ bí drug dealer. I was listening to his press statement in Abuja some few hours before I started the program. You would think that Wike is smoking something. And if he's not smoking something, I don't know why he's putting on glasses in a press conference. The other name, eyesight problem. To jẹ́ pé, dark shade ló yẹ kó wọ̀. Or it shows that he has smoked something before coming to that particular event. But whatever it is, let me remind you that nobody, and I say nobody, can stop the Yoruba Nation struggle. You might not be happy with it. You might not be satisfied with it. Mo kí gbogbo ẹni tẹ́ wà lórí TikTok. But you cannot stop it. It's either you just continue to moan. That's all you're going to be doing. We are not the only one. I've given you 2 countries today that are also in what we are doing. Those 2 countries are also members of the UNPO. And I pray that some of us will get the message. I'm coming back. Let's listen to this.
Ohun tó bá ti yàkọ̀ kì í pẹ́ mọ́ kúkúrú èdè ẹ̀jẹ̀ ń já yín torí pé ẹnu rẹ̀ díẹ̀ ní pàápàá nínú ìjókòó ọjọ́ náà nínú àpérò àpapọ̀ ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá àgbáyé ọlọ́jọ́ kan tó ń bọ̀ yìí One Day Yorùbá World Youth Conference yóò wáyé lọ́jọ́ àbámẹ́ta Sátọ̀dé ọjọ́ 16 oṣù kẹjọ ọdún 2023. Àkọlé rẹ̀ jẹ́ ipa àti ohùn ọ̀dọ́ fún ọ̀kan ọ̀jọ̀kan ètò orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá, the role and the voice of the youth to structure Yorùbá nation. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ látago 11 òwúrọ̀ America Eastern Time tó ń jẹ́ agogo 4 ìrọ̀lẹ́ ní UK àti agogo orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá tí a lórí ìtàkùn ayélujára Zoom ni ó ti máa wáyé. Meeting ID 839-558-3292 nígbà tí password sì jẹ́ 790545. One Day Yorùbá Youth Conference yìí máa fàmì ọ̀tọ́lẹ̀ ó dájú. Àwọn ìlú mọ̀ọ́ká gbàgbọ́ jọ̀gbọ́n ọlọ́gbọ́n gbogbo ni ó wà níkàlẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ náà. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ látòrí bàbá wa Emeritus Professor BANJI AKINTOYE, Yoruba Nation leader aka Oracle of our time, Prophet Ayọ̀délé Ológunlolúwa, youth leader in all diaspora láti USA, Comrade Olúwamáyọ̀wá Òmíyọ̀, youth leader láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Lára àwọn olùbánisọ̀rọ̀ ọjọ́ náà sì ni Honourable Dr. Isaac Òkèbíọ̀rọ̀sí, CPMO Director General, Dr. Túndé Àmsà, Assistant Director láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Comrade Káyọ̀dé Ẹ̀mọ́là, Assistant Director láti UK, Comrade Ọláyọmí Kóìkì aka White Lion láti UK, Mrs. Morenike Babinti láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Comrade Àníkẹ́ Praise láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá, Engineer Chief Múdà Dayọ̀ Ògúnṣọlá láti USA, Mr. Babalọlá ládàdà láti ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Bákan náà láti fàkókò ìsọ fún ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá gbogbo wípé àǹfààní sì sílẹ̀ láti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa láti jẹ́ aṣojú tàbí ara wa léyìíkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà. Nítorí wípé afẹ́kọ́wọ́jà ìkárí ayé ní kò pé kò jìnnà lè darapọ̀ mọ́ àpérò yìí láì lórí ìkànnì Yorùbá World Media lọ́pọ̀rí owó media koikimedia ìyẹ́dárakọ̀ WayTV Yorùbá Kingdom TV àti gbogbo ìkànnì mìíràn tó sọ̀rọ̀ sókè fún ìjàgbara ilẹ̀ Yorùbá. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé síwájú sí i àbí tẹ́yìn pàápàá bá fẹ́ darapọ̀ mọ́ wa léyìíkéyìí ìlú tẹ́ bá wà ẹ lè pè tàbí kẹ́ WhatsApp +234 703 717 3355 àbí kẹ́ pè Prophet Ayọ̀délé tí wọ́n jẹ́ youth leader in all diaspora gan lórí +1 803 846 1116 Yorùbá Nation Youth Ajásẹ̀yìn ló mọ ohun òsì nílé. Ìkéde ìdẹ́sítì pẹ̀lú àtọwọ́ Prophet Ayọ̀délé Olúgbòlúwa youth leader in all diaspora lórúkọ gbogbo ọ̀dọ́ Yorùbá pátápátá.
And as we now come back to the program, we're just about 24 minutes to the end of the program. I'm going to start appreciating as many of you that have joined us. Moki Babawa Martins, Babami Iyola Ismaila, Mamami Yeye Newa, Labisi Mufito Daruko Ima. Moki gbogbo ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa ní next week Saturday, Ìlànà Ọmọdúà Canada are holding their town hall meeting. They consider the topic, can the Yoruba survive alone without Nigeria? Do you think they can survive? About the next week. Why not join them next week Saturday at exactly 3 p.m. Eastern time. That will be 8 p.m. local time. There will be another program that is coming up to your left hand side as well. The Yoruba Nation Leaders and Office, the CMPO, cordially invite us to a one-day youth conference team, the role and the voice of the youth to the structure of Yoruba Nation. All this is going to be very, very interesting program, and I hope that some of you will be looking forward to that as well. Moki, Mr. Alex Mamu, Babawa Ono Adeola, Fortune Michael, Mr. Idowu Michael, shout out to you, Inside TV, Adebayo Taiwo, Ziko Ola Lawal, Mokiawa Dupe Lawal, not the bombasted, Okoya Fola Mokia Tiamu, Jack Olushola, shout out to you, Dipo Awolusi, shout out to you, Adegboye Galowa Shegun, Mr. David Dara Ademola, Babawa Samuel Afolabi, Babawa Wahab, Shola Mighty, Babawa Shitu Omomi, I think I saw Comrade Amoshebi as well, DG75, thank you so much. No, I'm not bringing anybody in. There's no request. I'm not bringing anybody in, especially on the TikTok. We haven't got the time anymore. It might be new. There'll be some other time. There's nobody coming in. Moki, Mr. Paul, Alex, Adex, Moki on koikimedia team from Ilaro to Ekiti to Ondo, Remilekun Adeleye Yusuf, Ojumola Adebayo Lamide, Moki Iwa Peluewa, Moki Yoge, Yawa Iyabo Olubunmi Oluwole Moki, Royal Mukisa, Ebenezer, and as many of you that are Mr. Nuruddin Ajani Busari, thank you so much. And as many of you that we have not mentioned, especially those of you on Twitter, I know we are live back. We've been able to get the Twitter sorted out. We are now live on Twitter. That literally means that people are listening to me, and I guess I have about almost 140 people yesterday. Do follow us on the Twitter and do very, very interesting. You will learn a lot, and there are some things I cannot post on Facebook, especially Facebook has been very, very biased when it comes to our message. So I can't post as many things on the Facebook. So you've got to join us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is koikimedia as usual. Once again, shout out to as many of you that believe in one Nigeria and as many of you that does not believe in one Nigeria. We cannot force you if you don't want to believe. Baba Boboye Joseph, good evening to you as well. Thank you so much. I hope we've learned one or two things, especially the angle where the member of parliament is raising a bill. That is quite interesting. Tabari MP continue to Mabawa raise bill. But see house. Look, let us have a Yoruba nation, as it will bring a very great opportunity for the British government. But I don't know what the British government wants, but what we do want might not be what they want, but that does not mean we will stop asking for what we want. Muki Bugwalen can say, I won't be coming out again this evening. It will have to be again tomorrow. This is going to be the third broadcast for the day. But keep an eye on our Twitter handle where we post a lot of different things that is happening. I think I promised I wanted to show you those outfits. If you're interested, let me know. It can be made to your own size. I do have some of them with me right here, but they can make it to your own size. So if you're interested, they can customize it for you as well. So let me show you those outfits behind the scene so that you have an idea. Anyway, I hope to put it on maybe very soon. Follow us on www.koikimedia.com. That is our official website. Free Tanya Long, whatever the issue on the ground, we hope it can be resolved as quickly as possible. Also remember, a lot of you refuse to go into our back end YouTube. How many of you need sorry YouTube? You have to get the back YouTube. Let me use that to bring that in quickly. We still have 15 more minutes before I go. Follow Alori the back YouTube channel, which is the one in front of you right now. It's called the WD. No, sorry, we have two. This one is the one I told you, the 10 minutes. I'm sure some of you have been following it. Some of you are not following it. I don't know why. We have a lot of videos that will come here and any other place. I've told you that already. So you might be wondering, Koiki, video is because maybe we should listen to this. So all these short videos that she see by and he posted was sorry Koiki Media. So Egbodo sorry Olayomi Olakunle Koiki, or you look for Koiki Media TV. That is where you will find the video. Let's give you this to taste, to watch first. Once again, it is still the platform that educates you. So let's watch this.
Yes, this is a bakery. You can get a fresh bread here every day. Their bread is so fresh. Depending on the time you get here, you're guaranteed to get a fresh bread every day. Food business is a very good business. Here goes the bread. I am here to get my bread, and I was told to wait for 5 minutes. I'm definitely going to get the very hot one, just in 5 minutes. Yes, let's zoom in. Whoa, that's the oven. That's the oven. Yeah, so I would definitely wait for my bread. They have different varieties. Depend on your choice. But I'm actually waiting for this one that looks like French baguettes. It is not a baguette, but it looks like a French baguette. That's the one I'm waiting for. Yeah, this is Koiki Media, bringing the word about food to your doorstep. It's coming. Oh, my bread is coming. Oh my God, here comes the fresh bread. Here comes the fresh bread. So I'm good to go. Yeah, my bread is ready. This is Koiki Media once again, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Bye for now.
So again, as you can see, there's a lot of videos that we are working on there. Let's give you some of the other content that we have there. This one, again, sport is a lot of opportunity. Sport, more opportunity. Moke Waris, Jinadu Latenkan, Moki, Babawa Oludari as well. And to ba mo link biba eso fún wa ka post e Kelly lo follow it. Our videos there in biba le lórí Koiki Media. I told you there's a reason for that. We are working on so many things where we want to make sure that in the next 1 year there's something that we want to project out of it, and that is the reason why we are trying to make sure that whatever we are projecting from there will make a big impact. So maybe you should watch this. It's called the Astapol Oil Wrestling. Woman down before the fight goes on. Let's watch it together. Before we go.
These are the main guys in the professional league. These are the professional oil wrestlers from different states in Turkey. These are the professionals. Representing each state in Turkey. This is still koikimedia reporting live at the maiden edition of the oil wrestling taking place in Turkey right now. These are the professionals. These are the professionals representing each state.
Fatih Deveci, Seyit Yazıcı, Mustafa Ali. Bu müsabakaların galibi çeker rakamına gelerek lütfen ismini yazılsın. Toz toparan ve ayak boyunda galip gelen pehlivanlarımız rakip eşleştirmelerini yapmak üzere lütfen boy ayrım yerine gidiniz.
It is still the oil wrestling.
Toz toparan ve ayak boylarında galip gelen pehlivanlarımız rakip eşleştirmelerini yapmak üzere lütfen boy ayrım yerine gidiniz.
Evet, sağlıkçılar, pehlivan giriş konusunda sağlıkçılar. Çok acele sağlık ekibi, pehlivan giriş konusunda bir sporcumuza müdahale edelim.
So again, that is on that. Let's give you one more. So Eric, when content missing here, follow page here. Some of you would never. I think you saw this one during the whiskey. Let me give you another one. Again, tourism. Ilẹ̀ Yoruba, Mountain Miss, ni tourism. Enjoy this as well. And you can see millions of dollars for what TV won't make when it comes to tourism. Can you see that? Tourism, you can't joke with it. So that is from the tourism side. And then I want to see another angle of the broadcast. Again, this one was in Nigeria some few months back.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Martins láti iléeṣẹ́ koikimedia. Ẹjọ́ ìlú ni tomatoes gbà 1,000 naira. Tomatoes ilé 1,000 naira. Ẹjọ́ ìlú ni tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ mọ̀. 300 ó wá lọ sórí 1,000 sí. Ẹjọ́ ata náà kọ́ àtàrodo at 100 naira. Ṣẹ̀rí àṣẹ ẹ̀yìn wa tẹ̀wà láàbúrò ṣẹ̀rí ata 100 naira. Ẹjọ́ ẹ̀rọdọ náà kìíní kan ilé 200 bá wà 200 koikimedia tó ń gbé wọ́n kò sọ lọ́sẹ̀ ìyá ìjọba tó ń jẹ wá o ìyá ni o epo ni o epo ló kọ̀ sí ẹ o àbí mọ́mí kí lẹ mọ̀ pé ó kọ̀ sí ẹ.
Well, let's show you from another angle again. So these ones are the latest video that has been uploaded. You can see 1, 2, Amakwini winner and Winnie Ijayi. The koikimedia team are working on the last 3 videos to cook. So we have a winner on this oil wrestling. Let me give you one more. I'm sure some of you have seen this already. If you haven't seen it, This is how Malu, Boshin si Malu, Tonshe, Itonsheni, location 419. Let's watch this again. Once again, Mukibubu Ati and Bowaka Kibubu Agbaye, Elo Shekine, try to subscribe to this particular platform.
You automatically start the machine for cleaning process.
So we are just about 10 minutes to the end of the program.
And then once that machine is started, and then the cleaning process will start. So what time do you start milking? What time of the day?
3 times.
No. 7 o'clock in the morning? Sabah?
Yes. No. It's 7 o'clock evening.
7 o'clock in the evening?
3 o'clock at night.
3 o'clock, 3 a.m.
11
o'clock in the morning. Oh, 7 in the evening, 3 a.m. and 11 a.m. 3 times a day.
Yes.
Okay, that's the best time to milk the cow. Guzal, start.
9 milking is better.
Okay, that's the first one. 7 o'clock or 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the best time. 3 a.m. Okay. The weather is good. Yes, you're right about that. This is a dairy farm. So sensitive. Yes. What it's trying to say is, if you maltreat the cow will not produce enough milk. But you need to treat the cow with care so that you can get a lot of milk.
Well, you can get a lot of milk. I'll show you one more from the cow, and then we're gonna start, ending the program. Let's watch this particular one. So this is the milking of the cow.
Oh,
it's okay.
Oh my God, this is cleaned properly. This is the process of milking. First, they need to check the cow. If the cow is healthy for milking, then they start to pump. From one cow, you can get up to 20 to 15 liters. Okay.
It's full number.
Oh.
It's enough.
So, Tebape, enjoy it. Let's go to this platform. And the outfit that I was talking to you, one kidnapped Leni, according to the news. Yesterday, she was kidnapped with the eldest daughter and the wife of Mahmoud Amani after they invaded the house with sophisticated weapon in Zamfara State. That is Taniolong. Let's continue to pray for his return back to Ibadan. I think Mr. Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, that's all here, so I'm not going to go too much in that. There's a lot of things we post on our community. Omo ino, one kidnapped Labuja, Omo Yorubani, Miss Akande Abosede Esther, NYSC corp member, has been kidnapped in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Accident. We continue to pray for as many of us in Nigeria. Yeah, that is it there. So if you're interested, let me know. That is what it looks like. And that is what it looks like. So about any interest, these ones are just 15,000 naira. They can make any color you want, but you got to let us know. So that is what it looks like. 15,000 naira each. So about any interest, if you keep it about, it can be delivered to you. Let us know. So that's 15,000 naira. And I think the other ones are just normal shirt. Let me show you that one as well. We're really running out of time. We're just 6 minutes to the end of the program. And happy Sheshe Day, as I believe some of those states. Again, these are the other ones, as you can see there, and this is what it looks like. These are all African prints. So these are all African prints. So if you are interested, these ones are 10,000 naira each. And to ban interest, get in touch with Lumi, inbox or info@koikimedia.com, and we can let you know how to be paid and how you can get yours as well. So that is on that. I'll play the last video from our team just to say happy Sheshe Day, and then we will start winding down.
Gbogbo àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe pátápátá akíra wa kú oríire ojú á máa rọ́dún ọ̀hún. Wọ́n ní ọdọọdún là ń rógbó, ọdọọdún là ń ráwùsà, ọdọọdún la máa rọ́mọ bọ̀ lórí àjọ ojú á tó bọ̀ lọ́dún. Bá ṣe ṣọdún ní àtúnṣe tẹ̀mí ìtọ̀mùtọ̀mọ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run láṣẹ lédùn. So èmi ni ìṣẹ̀ṣe Dubai. I'm happy. Yeah, so on behalf of Koikimedia, we are wishing you happy Isheshe Day. Yes, Koikimedia will bring the world closer to your doorstep. Àmì sẹ́kún ọ̀ṣùnkúnnáre náà babaláwo là ń pè rí. Ọ̀sàkún lẹ́ngbẹ́lẹ́ngbẹ́ o, aláṣọ mìíràṣọ, aláṣọ mìíràṣọ o, aláṣọ mìíràṣọ omi abẹ́ ọ̀tá. Àgbà ìmàlẹ́ o, wọ́n rò gbẹ̀yìn rò pé kò sunwọ̀n o. Wọ́n rò gbẹ̀yìn rò pé kò sunwọ̀n, wọ́n fi irun mú dígbàgòrò ojú. Wọ́n fi ẹyin dísà pínpín o, adífá fún ìṣẹ̀ṣe tí ń ṣe lórí orò oníwàrún. Wọ́n ní kó wá ṣòro ilé wọn, ìṣẹ̀ṣe nìkan ló gbójú ẹbọ kóró. Òbí ètùtù ọpẹ ó tu, ó sọ àtúnkọlẹ̀ ẹbọ kẹrẹrẹ. Kí ni ìṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni o? Ìyá ẹni ìṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni o, bàbá ẹni ìṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni o, ẹ̀gbọ́n ẹni ìṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni o, àbúrò ẹni ìṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni o, òrìṣà ẹni ìṣẹ̀ṣe ẹni o. Ìṣẹ̀ṣe mojúbà kí n tó ṣàwo, ìṣẹ̀ṣe mojúbà kí n tó ṣàwo, ẹ̀wọ̀n ṣòwò ọ̀pẹ o. Ìṣẹ̀ṣe mojúbà kí n tó ṣàwo, ìṣẹ̀ṣe mojúbà kí n tó ṣàwo.
Well, I'm sure some of you love that voice. Those are part of Koikimedia team. We also have one that we did during the RCCG. I think we had something that's got to do with RCCG. Kemani, Koiki Ojeje, àwọn oníṣẹ̀ṣe nìkan lẹ ń ṣe. Torí mo mọ̀ ntẹ́ máa sọ. I guess we have that one. Mo mọ̀ bí tí fídíò yẹn wà. We did one nígbà tí RCCG wọ́n ṣe parí program wọn kan. Yeah, I believe I uploaded it onto this. Not this. Yeah, that's it there. Kemabani. Koiki, this was during the...
Once again, Koikimedia will bring the world closer to your doorstep. Still giving you updates from inside the Redeemed Christian Church of God to see how the thing looks like. You can see inside. That's a view from the inside. And the gate you saw earlier. Now we are still going inside. Once again, hold up everywhere. The thing beyond expectation. Beyond expectation. That's the thing for this year convention. Everybody have the right to do his own belief whatsoever they want to believe. Christian have yeah. You see there. Don't let tomorrow be 2 days. It will be a powerful one. Here we are to pray to God.
So Koikimedia is there. If you need the services, we don't charge when it comes to program that's got to do with Yoruba Nation. That is why we refuse to do any advert on our platform. Violation TikTok. So that is how far I can go this particular hour. I hope you've learned one or two things. I hope you've enjoyed the program. My name is Olami Koiki. It's just 5 minutes past 1900 hours. It's 5 minutes past 7 p.m. The weather is very, very beautiful. I can feel Eric Sonri and energy is strong again. Remember to support the platform with prayer, with your feedback. I know a lot of you watch it after the end of the conversation. Leave your comment there. Appreciation to those of you on the Twitter space. I know you're there. Sorry, I can't bring anybody in. Maybe, like I said, we're having our Twitter space on Saturday. If you're not following us on Twitter, please do so. It's very, very important so that you can also be part of the Twitter fight. There's a lot of banter going on Twitter. We haven't played this for a very long time because I've not been around for almost a week. I'm just back now. And this is how everybody heard about Igboho. Igboho, sha. We pray for the family of Adogon. As we remember him and Alhaji Fatai all the time. Moki Aziz, Moki our sister Gemileke, Moki our media that are working tirelessly towards the campaign of the Yoruba nation. I'll be out again tomorrow as we continue the campaign towards the self-determination. It's our right, and that right will be respected by this government, regardless of their views on what we are saying. I know they are watching us, they are listening, but we must never be tired. Moki Bugwale Nkonsi, Moki Onile, Moki Alejo, Moki Atobi Milomo Lenkonsi, Moki Baba Professor ADEBANJI, Ekuroju. We believe in you, we love you so much, and be remembering all the time, that can deal with the people that are out there talking nonsense. And for those of you that Otula Muki, if I haven't mentioned your name, don't get angry, don't get upset. It's just what it is. Sometimes we might and sometimes we might not, depending on if we pick your comment. And I know there are some of you that doesn't want us to mention your name, so you don't even comment at all. And those of you that says, we love you, we also love you as well from this platform. My name again is Olayomi Koiki. I'm just looking for the anthem so that I can just play the anthem and I can go. My name again, as usual, some of you call me koikimedia. Some of you call me different names. I told you, I am your last man standing. Moki, GR Wandada, Moki Bubu, different organization and different groups. From this end, Udabo. Bye for now. Thank you so much, everyone. African Confidential, Mokeda, the Yoruba movement, and the rest of you. Tony Aegis, Gapsin, checking out now. Oh, hey, Biafra, Simon Ekpa, salute to you all the time. Azerbaijan, and all those that are asking for the right to self-determination, checking out now. Bye for now.